Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Deku become idol of all genres. If you guys enjoy this movie, comment down below and let me know before I start. Please do support for more awesome content and leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also share this video with your friends and check out the description in my playlist. The author of the story Mamaillow, SugarCyndaquil from AO3. So let's start the video. Bakugo Katsuki was currently doing bench presses as he listened to a song by his childhood friend. Hard to believe they were already in high school. It was just yesterday that he and that nerd were proclaiming their dreams, and now look at them. Katsuki was attending the most prestigious courses of UA Academy, the heroics course. Izuku, his beloved childhood friend, was, in addition to being a singing sensation, was being tutored by Principal Netsu himself. After advanced schooling, Izuku had taken all of his high school courses during middle school and had graduated from Shiketsu Academy, though that wasn't to say Izuku was a small-time singer. No. Izuku was an idol. An idol working with a prestigious agency, and he couldn't be prouder of that nerd. Hi, hello, how's it going? Yes, today will surely be fun. When you listen to this sparkling killer tune. La 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 la, the town starts to sing. A red beat on beat meter. Raising rainbow-colored fader. Radio waves are candy-flavored. Never say goodbye. Because I'll always be by your side. La 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 la, hey, let's go on a journey. He heard his band of idiots, the self-proclaimed Baku Squad, come into the weights room. What do you fuckers want? Can't you see I'm fucking working out? The redhead, self-proclaimed manly man, Kirishima Aijuru, went over to him. Leading the band of idiots over to him. Don't be like that, Bakugo, you like our company. He smiled brightly. The discount Pikachu, Kaminari Denki, next to him laughed. Yeah, so what are you listening to, my guy? The blonde raised an eyebrow. Radio happy. He said simply, doing another repetition of bench presses. The whole town's a 7-colored speaker. The colorful surround is spreading. Tuning in. I've got a feeling. Na, listen and sing along now. Radio happy. A pink alien-like girl said, as she put her hands on her hips, that isn't your genre, you usually listen to punk or metal. You fucking heard me, Pinky. Don't like it, get the fuck out of my sight. Bro, calm down. Kirishima tried to break the tension. Mina was just curious, after all, you don't usually listen to that sort of stuff. You are listening to Radio Happy. I'll always be by your side in sleepy mornings and gloomy nights. Na, listen and sing along now. Stay tuned for singing and dancing. You can do this, say who. The greatest music started echoing. Na, listen and sing along now. Yeah, well, I do now. Got a problem? He finished his bench presses. They could notice his foot moving to the rhythm of the song. Nah man. He shook his hands a bit. Just still surprised, but hey, you know, if you're down we could all go out to a live show this weekend. Heard there was one going on. That would be cool, it'd get Mr. Stick in the ass to actually have some fun with the rest of us. Kaminari smiled. Look, you and I are super high. Yes, the wave frequency is heartsuit, love. I always come to where you are. Because I can reach to my beloved you. Calling you during sad times. On air is okay at any time. You start dancing and reach for the top 10. The sparkling blue tears. Melt into the colors of that rainbow. Katsuki paused, thinking about his next words wisely. He didn't want to reveal his friend's position as the idol of the show, so he said simply, I'm already going, and no, I don't have a fucking date. If you pry fucking further, I'll make you eat gravel next time we have a city spar. Mina was about to pry, but she knew Katsuki's threat was to be taken seriously. If they pissed him off further than usual, it wouldn't be pretty. The group asked him if they could tag along since they wanted to hang out with him still. They asked him what time he was going and that they can meet up with him at the place. 5:30, the front hall of the concert center. Katsuki bit out, I'll be there earlier, but I'm not telling you extras where to find me. You are listening to Radio Happy. Look, it's the future's beginnings. Come on, it's prime time. Cue the rainbow. A pastel-colored parade. The sky-filled tweeters are diamonds. My swaying heart is a white gold woofer. This sweet love song is like candy. Na, listen and sing along now. Alright, sounds good to me. Kirishima smiled, we'll wait for you there. After that, the group just asked him when he got into that type of music anyways. You are listening to Radio Happy. I'll take you to where the sky, seas, and the dazzling future are. Na, listen and sing along now. The past laughs at us in the present. Surrender yourself to the music sounds, yay. The greatest music is like a dream. Na, listen and sing along now. I want to reach to my beloved you. I want to reach to my beloved you. A friend of mine. He said simply. He smirked, now get the fuck out, you're ruining my fucking workout vibes. I'm thinking. I'm speaking. Izuku's quirk songs. Katsuki arrived at the concert center at 4:30, earlier than he had told his shitty friends. He was also carrying a rather large bag with him as he went to the backstage area, remembering to pull out a badge that showed that he was allowed back there, before walking inside. A brunette wearing a cute angelic-like outfit, a white dress with a blue trim along the edge, and a sparkly, sheer light blue scarf was sitting at the vanity. Oh, hey 𝐀𝐦. Ready for the show tonight? I was feeling a more dramatic show. Are you going to be here for the whole thing again? I know my love songs aren't your usual style and that they might ruin your tough guy image. It's whatever, Izuku, Katsuki shrugged. I'm staying the whole show since my shitty friends decided to come tonight. So they are meeting with me when I'm done in here with you. Katsuki set the bag on the table, opening it up and pulling out everything he needed for the bass. Since it's more dramatic and has to do with love and shit. I was thinking I'd take some blues and purples, maybe a bit of rose gold to really make your eyes pop. Do you think they'll try to go backstage? Izuku asked as he closed his eyes, letting him work his magic. I'm not sure. Maybe, but if you don't want to deal with them I will force them back. Katsuki worked at the bass first. Oh, if they're friends of yours, they're bound to be interesting. No one's friends with me outside the industry so I'm always interested in what you're doing, 𝐀𝐦. Izuku smiled sweetly, still keeping his eyes closed. They think I'm quirkless and they call me weird because I'm shy. Well, they're a bunch of dickheads. You're just quiet and they really are missing out when it comes to getting know you. Katsuki held his face. If they hurt you, I'm kicking their asses and you can't stop me. But that's mean, 𝐀𝐦. Izuku pouted. Yeah, well, everyone already calls me mean. So if it means I get to stop assholes from hurting you, then it's all good. They're just ghosting me. Nothing I'm not used to already. There was this one guy with black hair and he looks red constantly. He gave me a pencil once when mine broke, but then he got as red as your eyes do when I thanked him. To be honest, I'm thinking Hitoshi is the only real friend I have in those dorms that Nezu made me stay in. Izuku said. For one who knows love songs as well as he does, Izuku tends to be blind when someone has an innocent crush on him. Katsuki nudged Izuku a bit. Well, if you ever feel lonely you can always come by to my place. It may not be nicest or most people-filled, but I got my animals there. He smiled slightly, starting on the eye look. Ah, that reminds me, did Sakurai get over that little cold he had? Sakurai was Katsuki's Rottweiler mixed German Shepherd and he was the sweetest but dumbest gentle giant dog there ever was. He was also Katsuki's support animal for when the show's crowds became too much. He's doing better now. I didn't bring him today since my class still doesn't really know about him. Katsuki felt bad about it, but the blonde had made sure to put the live show on for him. The blonde also left his little princess out there too, for the company, in her display cage in the living room. Right. So how was training today? Ooh, and Animal Crossing. I know you've been having trouble with Reese and Blathers again, apparently. Izuku was always a bit busy for Animal Crossing, but on those days when he went on an international tour, they were his solace and his entertainment, especially now that Katsuki couldn't just drop school now in order to join him on a tour. Reese is being a fucking bitch. Like I tell her all the time I need her to buy my turnips for a good price and this bitch tries to buy them for fucking 68 fucking bells for 100 turnips. Like bitch I paid 102 for each, you ain't getting these today hunty. Katsuki scoffed, tilting Izuku's face to add the rose gold glitter liner and face glitter. And then now, Tom Nook is trying to extort me from my bells. Like you motherfucker I got public works projects to make my town beautiful as fuck. And you do me like this? At least my house is cute. That's all I got going for me since I'm so fucking poor. As is the life of a poor struggling mayor. Woe is us for Blathers, Reese and Tom Nook have decided to grab us by the bells. Izuku teased, keeping still for him, his adorable being enhanced as Katsuki added more and more makeup. Soon Katsuki finished off the look with a nude pink lip. And I'm done. He moved the greenette to face the vanity mirror. What do you think? Ooh, I love it. Izuku smiled, the purple really draws and makes my eyes look even more like emeralds. Thank you, 𝐀𝐦. He looked at the time, oh shoot, 5:10, almost opening time. You think you can get past these crowds? I'll be fine. Don't worry, I just gotta meet up with my friends. Katsuki stood up, cleaning up a little bit at least. I'll be back after to get my shit. Kill it out there, Izuku. He smiled and went off after hugging him. Good luck, hugs were the shit. Love you, Explosion Master. Izuku smiled, before finishing up his hair and the show could officially begin. Kirishima, Kaminari and Mina were there at the front waiting for Katsuki at exactly 5:20. Yo, Lord Explosion, glad to see you didn't ditch us. Mina smiled, wearing a cute nightdress meant for going to shows like this. Katsuki scoffed, yeah well, it's whatever. Come on. I'll show you the way through this bullshit. He motioned for them to follow as they went inside and to the front row seats of the stage. Damn, Baku bro, where'd you get the connection to get us front row seats? Katsuki shrugged, people. The show began with a few other songs, and they were soon entranced by the greenette whose voice was that of an angel sent from above. Just the perfect mixture of masculine and feminine and could accurately hit each note of each song, without his voice cracking. Such songs included Inochi Moyashite Koizio Otome, Nation Blue, Susumotom Jewel Parade, Yuki no Hana and We're the Friends. At the last song, the singer, Izuku, had a special message. Katsuki raised an eyebrow and told the four idiots, who had been talking most of the time during the show, to shut up. Pay attention, assholes. Before my last song of the night, I want to tell you guys a little story behind this song. This song, Koi Kaze, The Wind of Love. This is my song to those who feel they're unloved in this cruel world. This world of quirks and quirkless. Those deemed weak and those deemed strong. My message to you is this. If you ever feel like you can't make it, or you can't become whatever you dreamed, you need to work your hardest to get where you need to go. Despite this being a sorrowful-sounding song, I like to think this song is full of hope and new beginnings. A new meaning to love. A new meaning to power and a new chance to tell those who are beating you down, giving you sorrowful feelings, that you're happy despite what they say. Without further ado, let my love wind envelope you and give you new meanings to feelings. The dry wind blows through my heart. I wanted to take these overflowing emotions with it. Two shadows, and your casual chatter. I'm jealous of them, it becomes painful, is this love? I can only see you. I only keep thinking of you. It's so painful, I can't even create a fake smile. Kirishima was silent as he heard this green bean sing. He was awestruck completely, and he was entranced by this guy and what the words meant. Probably getting to him a bit more than they should, but he could give less of a shit. Katsuki was still sitting the same way, but he still loved each song that the greenette sang. Despite how many times he's heard them before. My heart is closed by the wind. Holding these uncountable tears and these words I can't say. These swaying emotions mislead me. I'm looking for you, I just want to see you, only you. The returning love wind scatters the flower petals. And slips through the crowd. Before my shivering heart, body. And everything else breaks, I want to experience love. What the hell, Mina could feel her heart breaking as she heard this song. It was so sorrow-inducing, yet had an air of hope. Green Bean knows how to pull the heartstrings, yeet. Kaminari agreed, worried that if he cried, he might shock himself. This pain I can't give a name to, can be called love, right? I can feel this time I first started to fall in love. My feelings wax and wane. They're so painful that they just overflow as I stand within this wind. I want to see you, but until that day comes. I'll continue to think of you enough to not lose to anyone else. I want to be by your side, forever. My tears become the morning stars. And my sadness, the cold sea. Inside the blowing wind. I change and melt. I want to feel you close to me. Katsuki smiled slightly even as the song was reaching its end. Despite the fact he doesn't like being out in the crowds, it was better than watching from the sides. You just never get the full effect than you do when you are in the front. Kaminari was just amazed at all of production details, from the giant glass chandelier to how as Izuku sang, the stage he was singing on slowly rose as if being lifted by the notes that Izuku was singing alone. My feelings wax and wane. I love them so much that they overflow in this dancing wind. This miracle I came across once again. Overcomes the distant lands, I want to walk into the future with you. If I had the courage to convey these feelings, I can say goodbye to all those painful nights. I put all my wishes into it, wish my love. So give me the power to take that first step. While my heart melts in the wind. It connects to a future I believe in. These waxing and waning feelings. Just want to erase sadness and bring happiness. Embraced by the tender wind. I fly through those clouds like a bird, like a fly. Soon the song came to its end, and the crowd cheered, waving their light sticks along to their cheering. Katsuki also joined in, since he was supporting his friend, who had done an amazing job as he always did. Thank you, Tokyo. Have a wonderful night. Izuku blew kisses before exiting stage. The Baku squad was amazed. What an earthen angel this boy was. Do you idiots want to come backstage? I gotta pick up something. Katsuki asked as he stood up. Backstage? Their curiosity was strong, so they followed him backstage. Why the hell was he back there to begin with? Yes, backstage. Katsuki rolled his eyes and started to walk to the closest entrance. So he can get out of the crowd quicker, and two, so he won't have to go through said crowd. They followed him diligently. He was a master at avoiding crowds, it seemed. When they arrived, they followed Katsuki to the dressing rooms, but were obviously stopped by security. They're with me. He pulled out his pass. I'll be keeping them in line. Of course, Bakugo-sama. The security members let them pass. Izuku-chan has been waiting for you after getting debriefed by producer Sama and Fujimura-sama. Sama. I'm a part of his team. I'm the makeup artist. Katsuki said simply to the four as he nodded to the security guard, before stepping inside. You wear makeup? Kirishima was shook. Yes, everyday shitty hair. Katsuki rolled his eyes. But it looks like you're wearing nothing at all. Didn't you gain your mom's soft skin or some shit? One of them asked. Well duh, but take that for a testament to my skills. Katsuki knocked on the door. Izuku opened the door, hugging him and pulling him in. My throat is so hoarse, but I'm so glad that you had fun. The mic pack worked with you being able to hear me, right? He pulled out the disguised mic pack scarf. Oh, are these your friends, Kaken? It worked fine, Izuku. Katsuki's hair moved a bit, showing not only the piercing he had, but also the hearing aids. And yeah, that's them. Warning. They are weird. Do I need to call security if they decide to grope me? Izuku asked immediately, pouting, Kaken. I didn't know your friends were perverts. No, not like that. Katsuki blushed a bit. They're just a bunch of dorks and idiots is all. They won't harm you though. And if they do, I'll beat their faces in. The blonde directs that at them. Kirishima looked like a kicked puppy after that. That's not nice, Bakugo, the redhead whined. Since when am I nice? It was a legitimate question. Well, you do my makeup for me, you make me hot chocolate when my throat hurts, you give me my favorite foods when I'm sad. Oh. And you gave me kanna. Izuku smiled, patting the pandacorn plushie on his vanity. Yeah, but that's different, we've known each other since we were kids. And you do a lot of shit for me, probably more than I deserve. Katsuki rubbed the back of his head a bit. Is that in reference to the blanket burrito I made you because you looked sad? I also fed you sushi that day. Ooh, and we watched Frozen for the first time that day. Let It Go was so cute, if a little overhyped. Could it be that Izuku was describing the ever-elusive soft Bakugo? Again. Different. It was my birthday and that was absolute shit. Katsuki looked away. Frozen is a shit movie and I hate it with every fiber of my being. Wait, blanket burrito. Who hurt you, my guy? No one. That is a lie and you know it. Who hurt you? Kirishima was ready to throw hands. His mama, but that's because she's a model who didn't see talent if it spanked her on the butt. Izuku smiled, but that's okay because my mom is kinda his mom and his dad is kinda my dad. Better parents than anyone can imagine, even if they both work a ton. I don't really go over there often anymore. I just stay at my place. Katsuki shrugged, it's not a big deal. Bro, you sure you okay? 'Cause that's honestly pretty sketch as shit. Kirishima frowned a bit, not liking the idea of his friend being alone in a house to his thoughts. I come over lots though. We go on tour during all those breaks we get. Izuku smiled, hugging his friend again, we hang out a lot. It's a bit of a bummer now that dorms were instated due to the nasty incident from last year. Nakatani-san was a traitor selling information to the villains. She would have been my homeroom teacher. But now I have Tanaka-san as the homeroom teacher. Wait, where do you go, then? Mina raised an eyebrow. I attend UA Academy. Izuku said simply, he really didn't want to get into the nuances right now. He mainly attends the courses online. Katsuki added. The Baku squad was processing everything just told to them. Okay, so this guy goes to our school. And you never told us, Bakugo? Kirishima looked at the blonde who shrugged. Don't want him to get swamped with unnecessary attention. He already deals with a lot of it on the daily. I really wouldn't mind, being an idol gets lonely sometimes. You haven't told me your friends' names, 𝐀𝐦. I just realized that. Izuku smiled, as he took off the makeup with the makeup wipes. Plus, I get told I'm really plain looking a lot. You're not plain, Katsuki mumbled, before gesturing to the redhead first. This is Kirishima Aijiro. He gestured to the pink alien, this is Ishido Mina. Discount Pikachu. Kaminari Denki. And then to Weird Elbows who had been quiet this whole time. Zero Hanta. Hey. Kirishima smiled and waved to the greenette. To be honest, he was literally a fucking puppy. 𝐀𝐦, that one reminds me of Sakurai. He pointed at the redhead. Who's Sakurai? Another friend we don't know about. Oh, he's 𝐀𝐦's support puppy. He's around 6 months now, if I do recall correctly. Izuku said, pulling up a picture of Katsuki sobbing as he held the cute dog. Kirishima gasped. He's so cute. He smiled looking at the picture. What's the support part for though? Anxiety, Katsuki mumbled. He's a doll. But a grumpy but dumb gentle giant. Izuku smiled, sipping some hot honey water. Gets beat up by a cat every other week, but I love him, he's a good boy. Katsuki smiled slightly. Mina nodded, so, what now? What did you need to grab, Bakugo? My makeup bag. The explosive went over and grabbed the large black bag, after he finished putting away a few more things. One could see that some of the products were high-end. Damn, Bakugo, how can you afford all bougie makeup? Mina immediately said. What's bougie? Izuku tilted his head as he wiped his face clean with a clean makeup wipe and then a warm damp washcloth. I'll make it to the dorms a little later, but did you want me to bring home any food for you in case you wait up for me? That's fine. Katsuki nodded, and bougie is high-end products. Name brand and typically you gotta look to see what works and is worth the money. He explained to Izuku, and I can afford because I do other makeup work on the side, along with some SFX shit. It pays good money, especially since this is so damn expensive. The blonde looked at Mina. Ooh, like that look you did for teasing little devils. Izuku said as he went over to a changing screen and got behind it, getting undressed. It was made of thick lace. 𝐀𝐦, what should I wear to the after party? Or maybe should I skip it entirely? My throat hurts a lot more than usual. That song was really powerful. You know what I'm going to say. Go to the damn party, but if you really feel like shit then don't. You need to have fun and socialize. Katsuki tells him, looking over to the curtain. The 3 other boys were staring, ogling at him through the curtain. I'm sorry they're idiots, Baku bro. Mina sighed as she thwacked them all across the head to get them to stop staring. I think I'll go with you because I honestly don't feel like interacting with people after having to do the finishing setup for this show and dealing with nasty. Takeda-san. She called me a fag again and I just know she'll be at the party. Izuku wrinkled his nose, coming out wearing a more relaxed outfit of a pair of fluffy, constellation-themed pajama bottoms, a black t-shirt that said DEKIRU on it and white socks. He also wore a blue hoodie for layering. Just give me the word and I will blow her clean out of the country. Katsuki reminded him. You may dress feminine as shit, but you're only pan. I am gayer than the rainbow. If you're a fag, what does that make me? A super fag? Kaminari, you dumbass. Fag is a bad word in general. I prefer the term queer. Izuku said. Fag implies that you're going to be burnt at the stake. Whatever, like I said I will tear her a new one if she doesn't quit her shit. Katsuki grabbed his bag and then pulled out a blue rose. It was a way to say that he was proud of him for his hard work in the show. Izuku just smiled and tucked it behind his ear as Katsuki always got him thornless roses. He looked like an angel, even as he put on his shoes and hugged his friend. Thank you, Mr. Explosion, my sweet Pomeranian. Izuku teased, hugging him before letting go and giggling as he made a dash to the car to escape the tickle torture that would await him. Katsuki still dashed to try and catch up to him. Get back here. He smiled, slinging his bag over his shoulder as he ran. Izuku giggled, but let himself be caught. The Baku squad were then witness to the elusive soft Bakugo as he literally tickled the hell out of Izuku, causing shriek laughter. I am committing this to long-term memory. I will never forget soft Bakugo. Zero spoke up. The squad was allowed to hitch a ride since they needed to stop by 𝗵𝗃𝗀's house. They watched as the two went in, before coming out with a fish tank-style cage, and a dog wearing a harness and a leash. The dog was obviously Sakurai, but what the fuck was in the cage? Easy baby. Izuku kissed Sakurai's head as the dog leapt into the limousine. Does Princess Killface have her heating mat in the enclosure, 𝐻𝐿? You know those are important since she can't thermoregulate. Yes, I know and I remembered. Do you think I could forget something important like that? Katsuki raised an eyebrow as he got in, petting Sakurai a bit, before carefully taking out Princess Killface from the cage to which the snake just blept its tongue out. What the fuck bro? Zero stared at the snake. You have a dog and a snake. You're a goddamn madman. Princess Killface isn't a madman's animal, she's an African egg-eater snake. Izuku said, she's a great climber, though sometimes during winter, she doesn't want anything but finch eggs. The thick Jimmy Dean danger noodle went into Katsuki's hoodie, peeking its head out. She's a little shit, but I love her. My animals are fucking amazing and fuck you if you think otherwise. Sakurai barked at that. She hides all day unless it's night, so I'm surprised she's hiding in your hoodie, 𝐻𝐿. Izuku hummed. Whoa, she's an egg-eater. My aunt had one of those before my mom was a bitch and had her sold behind her back. Mina said, poor Lucius died because of a lack of eggs and handling. She's probably just wanting to find some more warmth. Katsuki booped her snoot gently, your mom is a bitch for doing that Pinky. Clearly, she doesn't understand the first fucking thing about snakes. I raised Princess here since she was a hatchling. Izuku helped me get the information I needed to take care of her. And now look at her 4 feet and a chunky little kill face. Izuku smiled, petting Sakurai, did you get the support papers and the permit to have Princess on campus, even if it's unnecessary since she can't hurt anyone? Yes and yes. The explosive blonde reached into Sakurai's harness and pulled them out. Sakurai's official paperwork recognizing him as a support and service dog, and my permit for Princess. Good. Izuku kissed Princess's snoot, ugh. I need hot chocolate and something hot to eat. The greenette had not eaten since lunch that afternoon. Well then I'm cooking tonight. It wasn't a suggestion. Anything in particular that you're craving? Chicken parm. With mashed potatoes? Izuku asked, you can add a veggie of your choice too, since I know you want me to be healthy. Damn, Bakubro gets domestic when green bean is involved. Kaminari noted. Sakurai just barked at the prospect of chicken. Good cause you are not skipping out on good nutrition. Katsuki nudged him and glared at Kaminari. Shut up Pikachu. I can do whatever I damn well please. He shouted, before bending down and petting Sakurai, rubbing his ears as the dog gave him kisses. Sakurai jumped up on him, attacking his face as Izuku giggled. Okay, is everyone situated? Izuku asked. Yup. Katsuki put the snake back in her cage, making sure it was closed up securely and in a safe spot, before going back to giving love to Sakurai. Kirishima gave a thumbs up as he watched a boy and his dog. He's a good boy, he whispered to Mina. Precious. Shibuya, hit it. The limousine pulled away and drove to UA, what time is it, 𝐻𝐿? It's around, the explosive blonde pulled his phone out, 10:30. Katsuki looked at Izuku, so I think the idiots in my class are asleep. I see. So you won't attract attention with Princess or precious boy Sakurai? Izuku smiled, petting Sakurai who woofed. Mina took a picture. This is honestly insane, if I'm being honest. Mina admitted, how did you guys even meet? We met when we were kids. My parents knew his mom. Izuku was actually there when I was born. Katsuki explained, still holding on to his doggo. Oh I see, more questions were asked, even over the delicious dinner Katsuki made for Izuku and they got the general gist of things. Katsuki and Izuku were childhood friends. When they were 4 years old, they promised to take care of each other after Izuku nearly got killed by a villain and Izuku decided that although his love for heroes and willingness to train more seriously, he decided to go into music primarily after finding out that he had a very good voice and that Katsuki loved whatever he sang. So he decided to go into music for the purpose of uplifting people through his songs. Katsuki's parents were absentee, but they had a lot of adventures as children, and if Katsuki wasn't sleeping at Izuku's place, it was Izuku sleeping at his. They were practically inseparable. And even so, it was a wonder they weren't dating yet, they certainly acted as such. Katsuki didn't really say too much about himself, mainly just sticking to Izuku and what he wanted to say about him. The explosive blonde did have a crush on him, but to the blonde a silly crush was not worth a lifetime of stability and friendship that he had with Izuku possibly being lost. So he thought he was doing the right thing by not admitting them. Right, Izuku's quirk songs. Invade. Mush up. Mash up. On the other side of the light-filled city lies a dreamless underground. The voices of the wriggling darkness go on constantly, endlessly, unbroken. The ostracized, scattered scraps intertwine, forming an overstretched thread that groans, uncontrollably, day after day. Tonight they finally come alive. Open your umbrellas and stand up. Shout once, and it will show its figure. Shout twice, and suddenly it multiplies. Rise up into power. The time is definitely now. The world dances. In the mad poison flowers blooming in 7 colors. Eat till nothing's left. Mash up. The madness. The world dances. In the mad poison flowers blooming in 7 colors. Eat till nothing's left. Mash up. Everything. With the echo of a voiceless voice, the colony is spreading. Raise the discomfort level, hell is surely heaven. Unseen, they spread and multiply, in the kingdom beneath the floor. Surely, you can feel it, the breathing of countless friends. The tied threads are calling out. Lamella trembling, they go to meet you. One roaring scream, and the darkness shines. 2 piercing screams, and the curtain is just about to rise. It begins as soon as you touch the blooming flowers. Sing violently. With the 7 times reincarnated poison spear. Kill till there's nothing left. Slash down. The threat. Invade. Play and sing until you've used up all your strength. Snap your fingers, clap your hands. This is how we spread. Grow along the wall, struggling until you reach the door. I long for the flickering sky I've looked up at. Snap your fingers, clap your hands. This is how we spread. Go through the soil, struggle until you reach the surface. This is our victory song, rejecting the crumbled colors of yesterday. Open up our path. Cut up the horrors. Change the world. With dream flowers that burn up the morning dew. Expose all till there's nothing left. Wake up. The madness. Invade. Everything. After a long night of singing death metal for Katsuki, as it was his birthday, Izuku had gotten sick, with strep throat, and it was only enhanced by Izuku's singing of loud, projecting death metal and rock-type songs. So, with Izuku recovering safely at the dorms, the press outside being ignored, the day started out with Izuku and Katsuki texting. Apparently, from what Izuku could gather, Mr. Aizawa had told them to go at each other and pick a class president. Apparently, this meant to the students that they should riot for the coveted position of class president. DEKIRU, are you sure that you texting isn't going to get you in trouble, Kaken? Explosion skills, not RLY I'm sure. The class is having a fucking riot over class prez. DEKIRU, doesn't class prez mean more paperwork though? Explosion skills, not RLY yes. That's why I'm not doing shit but texting you. DEKIRU, if it's any consolation, I'd vote for you. You're pretty organized, I think. Explosion skills, not RLY yeah well everyone else here thinks I'm a dickhead. So I'm not going to bother. How do you feel? DEKIRU, it hurts to breathe and my voice is scratchier than that sweater your Aunt Kai from Hokkaido tried to gift you. Explosion skills, not RLY well shit. Try and drink some tea with honey. I think there's some in the common room kitchen. DEKIRU, okay. Are you going to try and come back here for lunch or are you going to sit with your friends? Explosion skills, not RLY I'm gonna try and come over there. I don't want you to be alone and shit. I know Sakurai's a good buddy, but still. DEKIRU, okay. I'll make your favorite for lunch then. Explosion skills, not RLY you don't need to do that Izuku. DEKIRU, I will make my goddamn spicy and cheesy chicken enchilada skillet with curry over rice and you cannot stop me, nor can this bitch of a strep throat. Explosion skills, not RLY Zuku. Explosion skills, not RLY please. Explosion skills, not RLY chill. DEKIRU, you cannot stop me. DEKIRU, strep throat be damned. Explosion skills, not RLY I will come over there and make you lay down. DEKIRU, I will make you yummy food goddammit. Explosion skills, not RLY no. Explosion skills, not RLY I don't need it. Explosion skills, not RLY nor deserve it. Please let me cook for you when I'm back. DEKIRU, attachment sent, a picture of a skillet with butter being melted upon it and in the background, the rice cooker was beginning to heat up. DEKIRU, I've been tested and I will make you yummy food, goddammit. I don't care if you think you don't deserve it, you work hard in the heroics course and I'ma treat my best friend right, goddammit. Explosion skills, not 𝗧𝗚𝐬𝐬. Explosion skills, not 𝗧𝗚𝐬𝐿𝐬 this. DEKIRU sad face. Omega. Explosion skills, not 𝗧𝗚. Explosion skills, not 𝗧𝗚 rude. DEKIRU sad face. Omega. DEKIRU, thank you for being a good friend 𝗧𝗠𝐬 sweet rabbit 𝗫𝗀. Explosion skills, not 𝗧𝗚 I will go over there. DEKIRU, good, Sakurai misses you and he's gonna pounce on you and give you kisses. Explosion skills, not 𝗧𝗚 you are playing a dangerous game. DEKIRU sad face. Omega. Katsuki looked down at his phone, looking around to see if anyone would notice him leaving. Bakugo, what is your intake on the situation? Robot asked, chopping wildly. Is an election fair and democratic? I think you're being a bunch of dumbasses. Katsuki sneered. Just do the fucking election and get this shit over with. Well, if we do an election, then people will just vote for themselves. Ponytail said. Then make it a rule you can't vote for yourself, dumbass. Common fucking knowledge. Katsuki crossed his arms. The class was in an uproar about that statement, but their teacher just ignored them and slept in his sleeping bag. There were only 5 minutes to lunch. Are we just gonna let this be an after-lunch matter? No. Because then we have English. Oh my fucking god. Katsuki glared at everyone, just let fucking Four Eyes and Ponytail take over. They clearly are the most prepared and the rest of you are just a bunch of dumbasses. The election happened anyways and as it turned out, Katsuki had gotten a fair number of votes for that outburst. It was easy to tell that Katsuki's votes were from the Baku squad. So, he was class president while Momo was his deputy. Katsuki was very mad about this outcome. He didn't want to do this since he already has a lot to think about. Like paying the fucking house bills for his dad or looking after Izuku, he doesn't have time for this shit. Assholes, why did you vote for me? I've got other shit to worry about, paying fucking bills for one. You may be an asshole, my guy, but you know how to get us all to shut up and listen. Mina said as the boys of their group agreed. Katsuki really didn't have a choice but to follow them to the lunchroom because the halls were filled with students. Katsuki followed them, only buying a bag of chips before starting to head back to the dorms. His mind reeling with how the fuck was he going to manage everything at this point. As he was about to leave, panic arose because the alarm sounded. As the panic rose, the students began evacuation procedures in a rushed and disorganized manner. Katsuki was near a window and he saw that it was also the press as Robot had apparently gathered and round face floated him so he could make it onto an exit sign. Everyone calm down and relax, it is just the media that got into UA. No villains are present, please remain calm. Katsuki noticed the media and shouted. Listen to fucking glasses and calm your shit. He huffed and went to the dorms. After enjoying Izuku's wonderful cooking, he made his way back to the classroom. Before English class started, he made an announcement. Listen up fuckers. I'm resigning as class fucking president. I have no time for this bullshit and I got too much to think about already. He pointed over to Glasses. You should have voted for that fucker in the first place. With that, he sat down. After that, classes were relatively peaceful, though their teacher was late, so Izuku had time to text Katsuki again before it began. DEKIRU, I can't believe you got so many votes for class president, I'm so proud of you, pom pom doge. Explosion skills, not 𝗧𝗚 yeah well I resigned. I don't have time for something like that Izuku. You know this. DEKIRU, even if you resigned, I'm still proud of you because people trust you as a leader and a respected individual. Explosion skills, not 𝗧𝗚. Explosion skills, not 𝗧𝗚 my heart. Explosion skills, not 𝗧𝗚 but I don't understand why though. I'm an asshole and they all know it. DEKIRU, but you're my jerk. Ring in equal to ring in equal to. Explosion skills, not 𝗧𝗚 but they don't know that either. Explosion skills, not 𝗧𝗚 so WHYYYYY. DEKIRU, either way, super proud of you. Explosion skills, not 𝗧𝗚 𝗔𝗨𝗧𝗏. The class period ended and Katsuki sighed quietly, getting his shit together, but before he left to the dorms. He was stopped by Glasses. Wait. Bakugo-san, why are you so busy, might I ask? He said, I appreciate the crude help that you offered today. Would you like to be class enforcer if it's not too much work on your plate? It just means that you get them to listen to me if they get too loud. Whatever. He shrugged, and I work part-time and help my dad with the bills. And with tax season coming up, I've got to file those. He left out anything having to do with 𝐬𝐬, which was a big part as to why he was busy, but he wasn't lying about the other shit. Wait, tax season? But you're a student still, shouldn't your father or mother file those? You're a minor technically. They were walking back to the dorms now that classes were over for the day. My father works almost 6 days a week if he's not out on a business trip. And my mom is not there. So I learned to do it. It's not a big deal. He shrugged. Bakugo-san, you're 16 years old. Most college students barely know how to do their own laundry, let alone file taxes. Glasses said, then again I wouldn't know myself, seeing as I find it now shameful to admit that I have an accountant. Katsuki shrugged, it's just something I've been doing for a while. Don't feel bad if you can afford something I can't, it's not a big deal. It's something I have to do. But that doesn't necessarily mean you should have to do it, Bakugo. You deserve to have a mostly worry-free experience of high school just like any other student at UA. Glasses said, I know from experience that sometimes some worries are on the burden of the child by the family, but that doesn't mean you should have had to encompass them. I get it, but I like knowing that I'm taking at least a little bit of stress off my dad. He was about to walk into his dorm but looked back at Glasses, no Ida. You're not so bad Ida. He smirked slightly before stepping inside his room. 𝐸.exe has failed to open server. Bakugo Katsuki, you sly fox, I'm thinking. I'm speaking. Izuku's quirk songs. Izuku was worried about his makeup artist after the terrible incident at the USJ. His friend could have been killed. Who would make him look gorgeous and stunning? Who would feed him ice cream when he's sad, make him hot chocolate when his throat hurts? Who would he tease when they were tired after a show? He thanked the gods above when Katsuki was left with nothing more than a few scrapes and a sprained foot after apparently kicking a brain monster in the head. He'd wounded it, but it hurt afterwards, and it didn't help that his pom-pom doge was still walking on it afterwards, to get to safety. Nothing a visit from the school nurse couldn't fix though. DEKIRU, Present Mike asked me to sing at the sports festival, are you okay, Kaken? No more sprains. What about your teacher, Eraserhead? Explosion skills, not RLY Eraser dead ass came in here looking like a mummy. Explosion skills, not RLY and I'm coming over there to do your damn makeup in that case. DEKIRU, you sure? I know the Gen dorms are a bit further away, and you have to train for the festival. I'm hearing from my class that some students want to transfer to the heroics course and they do that by proving themselves in the festival. Explosion skills, not RLY yes I'm sure. No one is allowed to touch your face other than me. Explosion skills, not RLY you could fight in the festival too you know. You do great I think. DEKIRU, my chi blocking is not going to be enough to actually win the festival. Besides, I want to be your personal cheerleader since you've done the same for me whenever I have a show. Explosion skills, not RLY it's just a competition. I'm still going to win it, or at least like the top 3. Since I'm all about fair battles, none of that unfair half-assed bullshit. DEKIRU, true. If you win it because of unfair matches, I'm gonna be mad. I want you to have fun and have good fights. Explosion skills, not RLY unfair fights just make think I wasn't worth their time and that they were going easy on me. Anyways, I'm almost at your dorm. I pulled a sneak. DEKIRU, ah yeah, because of that photo shoot with that new badass outfit I got. Explosion skills, not RLY you know it green bean. Explosion skills, not RLY now open up. The next 2 weeks were a blur between photo shoots, shows and training for the festival. Mostly for training, Izuku did his best to help round Katsuki out and help him get more resistance to his chi blocking. For the general course students, it was an elective to take part in the sports aspect of the festival and Izuku himself was the main portion of the halftime show. Security was beefed up heavily for the sports festival and it was being broadcast live. In the Class 1A waiting room, just before they were about to head out, 𝐸𝐻𝐻 approached Katsuki. I am stronger than you, Bakugo Katsuki, but I do find your odd connection to the greenette in general course suspect. However, I am determined to beat you for this reason. You may think you're fucking stronger than I am, 𝐸𝐻𝐻, but news fucking flash, you're not the only motherfucker giving it their all. Myself, and even motherfuckers from the other departments are gonna give it their all and aim for the fucking top. If you have a fucking problem with that, if there's a tournament, expect to get your ass beat. Katsuki snarked. 𝐸𝐻𝐻 must have found this peculiar because he didn't react. With that declaration, Class 1A walked out to the freshman stage. The other freshman classes made their way out, led by Class 1A. The UA Sports Festival had begun. The chief referee for the freshman stage of UA's sports festival, Midnight, asked for the player representative to come towards the stage, that being 𝐀𝐦. 𝐀𝐦 went up to the stage, looking out at everyone. He clenched his fists tightly, his throat was full of cotton. The explosive blonde's face was still held in an intimidating look, but on the inside, he was freaking out. Izuku smiled from the shadows and released Sakurai, 𝐀𝐦's fluffy Rottweiler shepherd, who bounded up to 𝐀𝐦 and sat on his feet, looking like an adorable dork. The proud words of "service dog" were emblazoned on the side of the mostly black vest. There was also a cute cherry blossom collar around his neck with a cherry blossom charm. 𝐀𝐦 looked down a bit and saw Sakurai, he smirked slightly. "To those who believe in me, I will win this," 𝐀𝐦 declared proudly, grabbing Sakurai's leash and walking off the stage. This caused everyone, except the Baku squad and the teachers, to gape in shock. After getting over the shock of 𝐀𝐦 becoming strong with his dog by his side, who was then given to the green net to handle, Midnight announced the preliminaries of the sports festival. "Alright, my ladies and men and non-binary friends. Our preliminaries for this year are, a large wheel with choices spun for the event, the obstacle race. The obstacle race. It's a nearly 4 kilometers race around the stadium. Good luck." The students went off to prepare themselves for the race. The Baku squad talked amongst each other, mainly asking about how 𝐀𝐦 was doing after that whole thing. The blonde just scoffed and said he was fine. "Can't bring me down that easily," he told them. The race began soon after, with Izuku watching in the front stands with Sakurai. 𝐬𝐻𝐸 made his move by freezing the ground, causing dozens of students to become stuck in ice, and he skidded himself into first place. However, all of Class 1A avoided Shoto's ice. As expected. The half scoffed, continuing the race. From what 𝐀𝐦 could see, 𝐴𝐴𝐵 tried to attack 𝐬𝐻𝐸 with his quirk, but he was knocked away by a villain robot. He. Classic. The first obstacle is revealed, a legion of villain robots from the entrance exam blocked the way to victory. However, 𝐶𝐶𝐵 instantly froze many villain robots with his ice, defeating them instantaneously. The villain robots came crashing down, blocking the way for the other students, while 𝐶𝐶𝐵 himself pushed ahead, having gained a huge lead over the others. Not on 𝐀𝐦's fucking watch. 𝐀𝐦 ran ahead as the students, many from Class 1A, the dumb motherfuckers who still get caught by fright, start going past the villain robots, onto the next obstacle. The obstacle race entered its second stage, the fall, a canyon that had to be trekked by walking on ropes. 𝐬𝐻𝐸, who was in the goddamned lead, already finished trekking across the fall and went to the final obstacle, the landmine field. Other students started to cross the fall with 𝐀𝐦 catching up to 𝐶𝐶𝐵. The lead said 𝐬𝐻𝐸 bastard had started diminishing due to him having to carefully cross the landmine field. 𝐀𝐦, being unaffected by explosions, blasted himself towards 𝐬𝐻𝐸, thus gaining the lead, a short power struggle ensuing. After thoroughly kicking 𝐬𝐻𝐸's ass by being unaffected by the landmines, 𝐀𝐦 ran ahead to the finish line and crossed it, placing first, much to his and Izuku's happiness. 𝐶𝐶𝐵 crossed the finish line, placing second, and 𝐻𝐸 crossed the finish line, placing third. Soon, the other students crossed the finish line. Alright everyone. The 42 students at the top have earned the right to advance, while the other students fail to advance, unfortunately. Midnight announced, before spinning the wheel again, revealing that it was the cavalry battle. Alright, the next event. The cavalry battle. The top 42 students each form a team of 2 to 4 for this event and earn points by grabbing headbands from the other teams. The number of points each student is worth is dependent on their placement in the obstacle race. However, Bakugo 𝐀𝐦, who placed first of the first event, is an exception to the points rule. He is worth 10 million. You have 15 minutes to prepare. The point value of each team will be the total accumulation of each of the team's members. Midnight explained, the one to wear the total point accumulated headband will be the rider, and can only be worn around the head or the neck. If a team crumbles or loses a headband, that team is not out of the game, however. Quirks can be used but cannot be used for malicious aim. We're trying to have fun, not kill each other. Begin negotiations, now. The students begin teaming up, with the Baku squad, minus Kaminari, joining 𝐀𝐦's team, who according to Mina, betrayed them after he joined 𝐬𝐻𝐸's team, which consisted of 𝐻𝐸 and Ponytail. 15 minutes have passed and Midnight announces that the cavalry battle will begin soon. Team Bakugo was formed, consisting of 𝐀𝐦 as the rider, Ishido, Siro and Ijiro as the head of the horse. 𝐀𝐦 told them to kick some ass. About a quarter into the battle, with Izuku staying true to his word and being 𝐀𝐦's cheerleader, along with Sakurai, who barked each time Katsuki got a new headband as if to say good job. Katsuki's headband was suddenly swiped by a Class 1B student called Pretentious Fuck. His real name was Monoma Nito, but Katsuki didn't give a shit. So sad to see you lose this, but we were watching your class during the course. It must be sad to be a villain's victim every year. Pretentious Fuck smirked. Katsuki growled, Kirishima, we're changing fucking plans. We're kicking his fucking ass. This dumbass is dead. I'll be taking that headband, 𝐬𝐻𝐻 declared, though he was ignored by Katsuki as he heard Kaminari speak up. You don't want to fight him right now. Trust me. He's on the warpath. Kaminari's sweat dropped as Katsuki yelled expletives. Team Bakugo prepared to confront Team Pretentious Fuck. Frustrated at the lack of attention, Team Todoroki electrocuted and froze the other teams in their tracks as well as taking some headbands. Meanwhile, Katsuki tried to assault Pretentious Fuck. However, the copycat rebuked his efforts by using Katsuki's quirk against him. Katsuki managed to try again, but Pretentious used Kirishima's quirk to block the attack. Copycatting little bitch. Katsuki growled. Indeed. My quirk copies others, so I may use them to my advantage. Pretentious Fuck smiled. You are the one who fanned the flames of war with your declaration out there on stage. You know, the one you almost didn't make. Katsuki clenched his fists. I will be first. Your ass is grass, Pretentious fucking copycat. And I'm the fucking lawnmower. Meanwhile, Team 𝐬𝐻𝐻 had trouble breaking through Team Bakugo's defense, what with Kirishima rebuking each attempt to take their headbands and 𝐬𝐻𝐻 still taking headbands with his tape. With only a minute left, hold on tight. 𝗧𝗵𝗲 burst, and in an instant, Freezer Burn took Katsuki's headband. Enraged, Katsuki didn't know who to murder first. Baku bro. Get your headband back. We're not going down without killing Copycat Fuck's chances to advance. Katsuki roared at them, shouting for them to charge. Not glancing to 𝐬𝐻𝐻 and just pushed past him. 𝐬𝐻𝐻 noticing this, inadvertently activated his fire power in response since he wanted to beat Katsuki badly enough. Katsuki tried to assault Team Copycat Fucker but was blocked off by a solid air wall. However, breaking through the defense, he grabbed two 25-point headbands. 𝐬𝐻𝐻 quickly used his tape to reel Katsuki back onto the warhorse. Wanting to defeat Team Copycat Fucker completely, they went for the attack, having 𝐬𝐻𝐻 use his tape and 𝐬𝐻𝐻 use her dissolving fluid. Team Bakugo rode on the acidic fluid, using 𝐬𝐻𝐻's tape to reel them faster, catching Team Pretentious Bastard off guard. The two clash against each other, but Katsuki's ambition to advance to the next round and thereby becoming number one gave him the strength to defeat Copycat Fucker and took the rest of his headbands. With that squared away, the last 30 seconds were the final clash for Katsuki and 𝐬𝐻𝐻. Katsuki sent a blast to speed up their way to 𝐬𝐻𝐻's team, uncaring of his blazing left arm. At this point, 𝐬𝐻𝐻 realized he was using his fire power and looked shocked. Katsuki made a grab for a headband thinking that it was his 10 million point headband and took it from the shocked bastard. After putting some distance between them, he checked the headband but was surprised that it's a 70-point headband. The cavalry battle ended. The first four teams advanced to the final event of the sports festival. Team 𝐬𝐻𝐻 placed first, Team Bakugo placed second, Team 𝗫𝐿 placed third. 𝐬𝐻𝐻 had revealed he grabbed a 615-point headband during the fight with 𝐬𝐻𝐻, thus securing their second place spot, allowing them to advance. Thank fuck we advanced. I am mad that we didn't take first, but I can appreciate a fair fight. Katsuki said as they went to relax a bit before the next battle. And now, little listeners, we have a special treat for you this year during our noonday halftime show. Our very own Midoriya Izuku will begin the show with his newest song from the album, 𝐀𝐦 𝐍𝐨𝐭. Hello everyone. I hope everyone is having a wonderful time at the festival today. The song I'm about to sing is called 𝐀𝐻𝐬 and it's a song that I hope will uplift the students as they make their way to their dreams. Izuku smiled, his makeup was straight out of a fairy tale, with blue to purple ombre eyeshadow that was accented by a gold wing lining his lid, which was done by his short green hair had braided purple extensions. The greenette's outfit was equally gorgeous, a mint green button-up shirt with a white vest that was clasped together with gold hardware and a pair of knee-length white shorts, a few gold accessories hanging from the pockets. A pair of ankle-length mint green boots encased his feet as short, almost ankle-length frilled white socks that just peeked over top. Katsuki sat with the class, keeping a hold on Sakurai as he watched Izuku. The explosive blonde smiled subtly as he watched the greenette up on the stage, completely mesmerized by his performance as he always was. With this being said, I hope you all enjoy this song. With that, Izuku began to sing. 𝐀𝐻𝐬, 𝐀𝐻𝐬, don't stop. 𝐀𝐻𝐬, 𝐀𝐻𝐬, by not stopping. Now, let's play that same dream. Don't stop music. These piled up phrases are love words. From opening the shining curtains. This place is where everyone meets. And gather up happiness. The girls of the class stared at this boy. This singing angel as he sang inspirationally. He's so good. Round face smiled. How did he manage to look so amazing? Ghost squealed. He's quite the sight, and his talent is astounding. Ponytail smiled. Hard to believe he really goes to this school supposedly. 𝐀𝐦 spoke up. Yes. Let's rise up. These tensions and emotions. Hey, hey. Miracles are flowing from this sense of unity. Let's sing a song. Together. Goin' to this stage. Goin' in this world. Now, I wanna reach this melody. Goin', my companions. Goin', and you. Don't stop and let's wipe out our troubles. Now, let's ride with the same wind. Hop, step, jump. Don't stop dreamin'. Inspirational, he is a legend and his dances are very simple, yet cute. Ida said. Don't stop dreaming. 𝐬𝐻𝐻's gaze was trained on Izuku as he watched the performance, keeping an eye on how his father was perceiving this. Interestingly, he seemed to enjoy the music too. Seems music did soothe the raging fire beast. I'm glad that I get to meet with everyone. When I raise my passionate voice, my heart's tuned sympathy begins to echo to the future. He really is sparkling, Sparkles said, smiling ear to ear as he watched the performance. Edgy emo bird looked up to the greenette. He really is something in this dark world. Octopus simply nodded an agreement to that. Yes. Everywhere. I completely lose myself in this universe, hey. Changing these hands into wings. Let's fly, and dance. Burst forth. Goin', don't stop. Goin', by not stopping. I can speed up even faster. Goin', let's enjoy it. Goin', I couldn't help myself. I can't stop these tears of joy. Hey, I wanna continue on singing forever. Hop, step, jump. Don't stop dreamin'. Each and every one of us had embraced our anxieties. That'll someday come closer and become courage. So we'll move forward even more. Such an extraordinary person, Tail mumbled, surely his quirk must have to do with his voice. If I could, I'd present him with a fantastic treat. 𝗬𝗲𝗏 smiled. Goin' to this stage. Goin' in this world. Now, I wanna reach this melody. Goin', my companions. Goin', and you. Don't stop and let's wipe out our troubles. Now, let's ride with the same wind. Hop, step, jump. Don't stop dreamin'. Once the song was over, Izuku ignored any encore requests and went to go get a drink. The students were then free to leave for their break if they wanted, or they could catch the rest of the halftime show. Izuku looked up. Who are you? He asked, looking up from his tea as he waited for Katsuki to get away from his crowding classmates. I'm Todoroki Shudo, I just had something I needed to ask you. 𝐬𝐻𝐻 told him. Oh, sure. Izuku petted Sakurai as the boy proceeded to sit down in front of him. Who are you to Bakugo? 𝐬𝐻𝐻 asked, seeing Sakurai and knowing him from when he went on stage with Bakugo. I'm a childhood friend, for one. What else? We're a lot of things to each other, but I like to think we're special to each other. Izuku said, drinking his tea and soothing his throat. Why though? He's rather abrasive and rude if anything. His face remained blank the entire time. Because he's my friend. I was there when he was born. What class 1A sees is tough guy Bakugo who hates girly things and will hiss and spit at you if you even insinuate he can't do something. Izuku smiled, then revealed, the one I know is 𝐀𝐦, my sweet makeup artist, friend and special one. He's my protector and I'm his. We've been friends since the day he was born at 25 weeks. If you've come to tell me to not be friends with him, then I'm sorry to say, Todoroki-san, but I won't let him go. Someone like him is lucky to have someone who is willing to be there despite faults. 𝐬𝐻𝐻 muttered. Admirable that you wish to stay by his side, and he allows it. Considering that I'd assume someone like him would just stay alone. Which is a viable option is he wishes to be strong as a hero. What does friendship or relationships have to do with being a strong hero? Izuku said, in my opinion, it's ideal to have a friend or two when you're a hero, or in any profession really, because otherwise, no one will have your back or assist you when the odds are looking grim. I'd say it's actually strong to be able to say that you have a friend because you have someone you can lean on and they can lean on you. You can become stronger and mentally, become healthier. It's arrogant to say that relationships don't make a strong hero, because in this day and age, connections are everything. I appreciate your words, but I am not willing to have someone become a casualty because of me. My father wishes for me to overtake 𝐀𝐦 𝐍𝐴 as the top hero, but that is something I do not wish. He is an awful man who drove my mother to burn me. It is only for her, and for my siblings that I desire to be a hero. To protect them and throw my father out of the way. I will become the top hero because of my mother's quirk, and I refuse to use my fire. I will become stronger on my own, and will not have someone hold me down. His voice was firm and unwavering as he started to stand up to leave. Your friend will understand the consequences of being a hero and having someone important as you to the public as a friend. Todoroki. Izuku said, 4 fingers tracing designs on his teacup. Your quirk is your own. Relationships have nothing to do with quirks on the most down-to-earth spiritual level. I'm sorry your parents hurt you like that, but that doesn't mean you should punish yourself by not having a friend in the world. Todoroki was silent before stepping out of the cafe. Katsuki making himself known, he had heard Todoroki's story, but not much. Of what Izuku said before that. You okay, Izuku? He asked, taking a seat. I'm fine, Kaken. If I truly felt threatened I would have chi-blocked him. I just pity him. To not rely on others, it truly must be a sad and pitiful life. Izuku smiled, you did well at the battle and the race, I'm proud. He smiled softly, thanks. He frowned a bit, the guy needs to let that shit go on the field. Yes, home life sucks, but save it for when you are not in the middle of a fight. Am I wrong for thinking that? He looked up at Izuku, petting Sakurai. Definitely not wrong, in my opinion. I have no doubt in my mind that if that kind of mentality continues, he will die on the battlefield. Izuku smiled, how did your classmates like my song? They seem to be enjoying it. Katsuki held his cup a bit, I'm just a bit worried if they will start to give you trouble, like not bad trouble. You know, crowding you and bothering you. You know I'll just chi-block them if they give me trouble. Izuku pointed out, my bubble is my bubble and if someone who isn't part of my team pops that bubble I will act like lightning. I know, but still. I don't want you to get hurt or uncomfortable. You always look out for me when shit gets too much, and I have to do the same for you. Thank you, Kaken. He kissed his cheek, did you eat lunch yet? Not yet. I was gonna get something in a bit. Katsuki told him. Izuku shook his head, no need. I made Mongolian beef over rice with a side of steamed broccoli. Eat a filling lunch because you have to work it off during the next part. He said, revealing the 2 thermoses filled with the food he made for them. Thanks Izuku. He smiled and went ahead to start eating. After the noonday break was over, the sports festival resumed. The girls of Class 1A appeared in cheerleader uniforms, courtesy of 𝗵𝗃𝗄 and Kaminari's scheme. The girls realized they have been tricked, with Momo being most upset of all. You know what? Izuku walked up to them and smiled, followed by Sakurai, could you make a collar and a cheerleader uniform for Sakurai and myself? It doesn't matter what those perverts are doing, the uniforms look cute and I think it's a nice way to support them. Ponytail nodded and quickly created one for the 2. It's really sweet of you to do this. She smiled as she handed the 2 items over to Izuku. Izuku changed quickly, revealing that he looked cute in whatever he wore, and Sakurai only borked and wagged his tail. Ochako looked at the dog. Oh, did Bikugu make you watch his dog? She asked. I am just as much of Sakurai's fur parent as Bikugu is. I'm the one who helped him apply for service animal rights, after all. Izuku smiled, replacing the purple hair extensions for a cute red hair bobble hair tie. Round Face just nodded, clearly she had some pretty strong opinions on the blonde. And most of them were probably not good. If you have a problem with Bikugu, say it to my face because I am his friend no matter what and I don't care what his mask may say, he's a good person. I won't privy you to my thoughts on him because I can't change your mind, but I just don't like him or his attitude. She said simply. Even still, the wheel was spun and revealed it to be a tournament battle. 2 students will go against each other and the one who wins will advance. The bracket for the first few rounds was revealed. First round bracket. Kirishima Aijiro vs Tetsu. Bikugu Katsuki vs Kaminari Denki. Shinso Hitoshi vs Shiozaki Ibra. Najira Kuroki vs Uraraka Ochako. Ida Tenya vs Hatsum Mei. 𝐜𝐡𝐬 vs 𝐬𝐡𝐢𝐬 𝐈𝐬 𝐒𝐻𝐻 vs 𝗀𝐀𝐦 𝐍𝐵𝐭 𝗀𝗏𝐴 𝐬𝐡𝐢 vs 𝐸𝐡𝐢𝐬 Katsuki looked over and grinned evilly at Kaminari. Mommy. What ensued next was a major beatdown on Kaminari on behalf of the girls of 1A and Izuku. Izuku just cheered happily for him. Ganbat, Kakin. Do your best. He smiled. Katsuki obviously won that round. Iida, who was equipped with Mei's support gear, versus 𝐻𝐡𝐢𝐬 went as one could expect considering she basically used him as advertising for all of her gadgets. Izuku giggled at that considering she was very intense and explosive, just like his friend. Ashido defeated Sparkles after making his belt malfunction and edgy emo Burb defeated Ponytail by striking first while preventing her from using her creations. Kirishima and Dollar Store Kirishima's match was basically a draw that would be decided in round 2 as an arm wrestle. First round bracket END. Kirishima Aijiro vs 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 vs Shiozaki Ibra. Najuru Kuroki vs Uraraka Ochako. 𝐻𝐡𝐤 vs 𝐴𝐻𝐸 𝐸𝐬 Yuga vs Ashido Mina. Yaoyorozu Momo vs Tokoyami Fumikichi. Todoroki Shudo vs Zero Hanta. The second set had him up against Hitoshi, who he didn't mind, considering the kid had screamed, "Jesus Christ fucking sucks," during his battle against religious vine chick. Katsuki stepped over to the arena when the battles were to start. "You know, you're a little basic bitch." Katsuki didn't respond to that, but his mouth was in a tight sneer. This fucker was trying to intimidate him. I mean, really. Gold liner with a purple smoky eye. Can you really call yourself a makeup artist? Please, you are no better than a copper-lid nude lip. Basic. His face was red as he glared. Now listen here you motherfucker, I've been doing makeup since I could pick up a makeup brush. Don't act like you know sh. He was cut off as his eyes glazed over. This fucker used his quirk on him. Brainwashing. Hitoshi's quirk allows him to mentally control people who verbally respond to him and, as a result, they will be forced to do whatever he wants. Ooh, dirty tricks in order to get what you want. Ah, as is the life of working underground, eraser. Walk out of bounds, for me. The purpleette grinned. Kaken. Don't do what he says. Ganbat, Kaken. Izuku raised his hands to his face and of course, seeing as Katsuki's dog was a service animal, Sakurai thought Katsuki was disassociating. So, Sakurai brute-forced himself away from Izuku and pounced on Katsuki, licking his face. Ah. Sakurai, no. Katsuki was walking to the edge when he was hit by Sakurai, falling on his butt inbound as the dog licked his face. Sakurai calmed down. I'm fine. Katsuki stood up and glared at the kid. No more playing. Sakurai whined but Izuku took him out of the bounds. Ah, but we were having so much fun. I was about to win this thing. Katsuki was silent as he ran up to the kid, picking him up and practically yeeting him out of bounds. Not today, Satan. He smirked. Izuku let go of Sakurai and Sakurai leapt at Katsuki, giving him lots of kisses as if he was disassociating. Shinso hit the wall and was declared unconscious as Katsuki was declared the winner. Katsuki let Sakurai give him kisses, just picking up the dog like it was nothing as he stepped out of the ring so the next person can go. Second round bracket END. Kirishima Ijiro vs Tetsu. Bakugo Katsuki vs Shinso Hitoshi. Uraraka Ochako vs 𝐻𝐡𝐤. Ashido Mina vs Tokoyami Fumikichi. Todoroki Shudo moves on to third round. Soon the third round came and Katsuki was set to fight Round Face. While the matches were played, Round Face agonized about having her match with Katsuki. Katsuki went to the bubbler, leaving Izuku alone with Round Face and 𝐻𝐻𝐤. He might go easier on you because you are of the fairer sex. 𝐻𝐻𝐤, shut the fuck up if you think that. Kaken never goes easy on anybody. Because he believes in fair and just fights. Just because she's at a disadvantage doesn't mean she's not going to get a fair fight. The only reason why Shinso-san didn't get played fair was because he wasn't playing fair to begin with. Izuku growled, as did Sakurai. It'll be fine, 𝐻𝐻𝐤. Round Face told him, before getting up and heading to the arena. The match between Katsuki and Round Face began with her trying to reach Katsuki, but Katsuki sent an explosion her way. He reached down to the floor to grab her, only to find just her jacket lying there. Round Face moved behind Katsuki to attack him, however, Katsuki's reflexes allowed him to attack her with an explosion, knocking Round Face back. Round Face tried to get up first, but 𝐻𝐡𝐬𝐬 reached her quicker and used explosion after explosion on her. Some people in the crowd start booing, faces filling with disgust. If your power is so different, then stop toying with the poor girl. Like cat and mouse, but even more helpless. What a villainous tactic. Shut up. Eraserhead spoke. You call yourself pros and you're saying he's playing. Look closer, you morons. If there's a pro saying that, there's no longer any point to you watching. Go home and consider changing careers. He's being careful because he's acknowledged the strength of his opponent who has made it this far. You said it yourself, Mike, he's here to win. He won't let his guard down. Frankly, you're being insulting to Uraraka too. She's fighting with everything she's got. And you're calling her weak? At least Bakugo is being respectful. And also, Uraraka isn't done yet. I'm surprised no one has noticed. Round Face, despite being battered and wounded from 𝐻𝐡𝐬𝐬's explosion assault, quietly thanked 𝐻𝐡𝐬𝐬 for not letting his guard down as it allowed her to put her plan into motion, to create a meteor shower from all of the rubble utilizing the effects of her quirk. The girl fired the meteor shower of rubble at 𝐻𝐡𝐬𝐬, planning to use the shower of rubble as a distraction so that she could attack him directly with her quirk. A meteor shower. Mike screeched, shocked. However, 𝐻𝐡𝐬𝐬 used a huge explosion, destroying her meteor shower of rubble and knocked her back onto the ground at the same time. Round Face got up and started to move towards 𝐻𝐡𝐬𝐬, however, her heavy wounds had finally took their toll and the brunette collapsed onto the ground, unable to move. Midnight went to check her and declares that she is unable to battle anymore, thus that made 𝐻𝐡𝐬𝐬 the winner. Round Face was given a brief moment to look at her opponent before she was taken away to the infirmary. 𝐻𝐡𝐬𝐬𝐬 smiled slightly. Sorry about that, but thanks for the fight, Uraraka. Third round bracket END. Bakugo 𝐻𝐡𝐬𝐬𝐬 vs Uraraka Ochako. Kirishima Ijiro vs Todoroki Shudo. Tokoyami moves on to fourth round. The final set came up, 𝐻𝐡𝐬𝐬𝐬 and 𝐬𝐡𝐢 were to battle for who would be taking the first place title. The two walked to the arena, staring each other down until they were told to begin. Right, everybody. It's the moment we've all been waiting for. The crowning achievement of this festival, the peak, the climax, the final battle. Mike announces, bouncing in his seat like a little kid. I'm sure you all know these two by now. From the hero course, Todoroki Shudo. Versus. Also from the hero course, Bakugo 𝐻𝐡𝐬𝐬𝐬. Ready, the two opponents glared at each other, and Izuku leaned forward in his seat with Sakurai at his feet, waiting patiently, but making sure that he was alert in case his master needed him to reorient him into reality. Start. Shudo immediately slammed his palm against the ground, a glacier enveloping half of the fighting field. Bakugo was swallowed in the ice, and try as he might to blast away, it seemed like the match was already ended. Todoroki wastes no time. Has the match been decided already? Izuku shook his head slowly, smiling as he knew what was going to happen. Nope. His 𝐾𝐦 was still in there, only more determined by the strength of his opponent. Ready to prove his mettle. Boom. It's muffled, but those explosions were there, slowly getting louder and closer. Boom. The ice started cracking. Boom. 𝐬𝐡𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐬 leaped away from flying chunks of ice as 𝐻𝐡𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 panted inside. He worked his way out using explosions. Gabat, 𝐾𝐦. Do your best. Izuku cheered. A final explosion, and Bakugo flew forward. Shudo tried to grab him with his right hand, but Bakugo was too quick as he his quirk to dodge and grab at 𝐬𝐡𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐬's left side. Come on, Izuku whispered. You got this. 𝐻𝐡𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 threw 𝐬𝐡𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 as hard as he could towards the line. Said 𝐬𝐡𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 only stopped himself from losing right then and there, by creating an ice wall and began to skate around until his back was to the blonde's tunnel. The two stopped then, glaring at each other. The way he grabbed Todoroki's left side on purpose and timed his explosions, Eraserhead began, watching closely as the fight continued. It's obvious he's been doing his research. Abilities like that shine through every time he fights. Todoroki is also moving well, but he seems a bit off. Come on, use your power. You're never going to win, or move on, if you don't. Izuku whispered under his breath, petting Sakurai to calm his nerves. Give my 𝐾𝐦 a fair fight. Give him a good fight. 𝐻𝐡𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 started moving again, running forwards, his hands crackled. 𝐬𝐡𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 just stood there, frozen, both arms pulled back in hesitation. Oi. You've got the power, now use it. 𝐻𝐡𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 yelled. Use your fucking power, asshole. I refuse to back down. Personal issues should not hinder your own abilities. 𝐻𝐡𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 leapt into the air. It's your quirk, dumbass. Fucking use it. Before he used his explosions to turn himself into a literal tornado of fire and smoke. Smog from LOTR would be proud. Todoroki's left side lit up for a brief moment, before it disappeared. When the impact hit, several people in the first frontal seats were blown back with the force of the explosion, except for Izuku, who cheered in delight, as did Sakurai, who howled. Present Mike recovered fast, seeing as he had a window between him and the fight. Whoa. He added rotation and speed to the huge blast he showed us during his match with Uraraka. And I think I saw flames from Todoroki. Does that account for that blast? All the cold air was immediately heated and it expanded. Eraserhead added. The smoke cleared soon after. It was revealed, the glacier was blown to bits, and there was a crater in the middle of the concrete field. Todoroki was slumped over a pile of ice, with the slightest hint of singed clothing, and Katsuki was on the other side, face down in the dirt. Both were in the boundary, but they were unmoving. Are they both down for the count? Present Mike shouted, as he spun in his seat. Is it a draw? Can they stand? They aren't unconscious. I think they're stunned. It was a big blast after all. Todoroki groaned and pushed himself up, Katsuki doing the same. They're alive, awake, and moving, folks. Can they fight though, is the real question. Present Mike announced. Todoroki stomped on the ground, a wave of ice forming again that Katsuki just barely dodged, as he blasted himself up from a prone position. Both are still fighting, but they're stumbling and disoriented. Eraserhead said. They won't last very long. It looks like Bakugo is a bit better off though, they really aren't. Katsuki tried to guide himself in the air but ended up toppling to the floor and tripping over a chunk of cement. Todoroki was very carefully not moving, keeping Bakugo back with his ice, though Katsuki was careful as well. With all the debris and ice, though, it's difficult to tell where the line is. Todoroki ended up stumbling right over it, before charging right back in as he was pining to make an attack. Todoroki. You went out of bounds. The match is over. Midnight called the fight. What? Katsuki was furious. That's bullshit. He went over and grabbed Todoroki by his shirt. God damn it, you were supposed to give a fair fight. Fight me at full fucking strength, icy hot. Well, the first year sports festival is complete. Now we'll proceed right to the award ceremony. Midnight called to the crowd. Behind her, smoke and confetti burst from the ground, and a podium rose from the ground. Izuku cringed but rolled his neck and got back into the cute outfit he was wearing before the cheerleader uniform. Fourth round bracket END. Todoroki Shudo vs Tokoyami Fumikichi. Todoroki Shudo vs Bakugo Katsuki. Birdface stood at the third place podium, Todoroki at second, and restrained and muzzled as he screamed profanities and struggled against the restraints on the first place podium was Katsuki. The blonde was completely angry and upset. He didn't get a fair fight and won something he didn't deserve. The crowds though were cheering for the other two contestants while they shouted that his behavior was villainous. The number one hero marched forward, laying the bronze medal around Birdface's neck and hugging him. You have powerful quirk. Be sure to keep making your body stronger alongside it. Birdface was impassive, but his face said it all. Help his armpits smell like hopes and dreams. At Birdface's nod, All Might gave Todoroki his silver medal. Izuku was given the honor of giving the gold medal to Katsuki, and the first thing the Greenette did was cut all of the restraints with a chain cutter that he hid in his boot after stepping back and giving 2 middle fingers to the crowd, making sure everyone could see it. To those of you who are fans of my music but do not think 𝐀𝐦's anger is valid, you are no fans of mine. You are fanatics and I do not want you associated with me or my music. Anyone here could have been on that podium, and if 𝐀𝐦 thinks that something is unfair, I'm inclined to believe him. Izuku cut the muzzle off of his face, as Sakurai sat at his feet, panting happily. 𝐀𝐦 and myself know that sometimes unfair fights are going to happen, but if they are intentional, then of course we're going to get upset. 𝐀𝐦, I'm sorry I have to gift you this medal, but think of it like this. You did your best and you shouldn't let someone's disability to let things go get in the way of a happy moment. Katsuki immediately shouted. This is bullshit. He was basically unconscious. I want a rematch. I'll grind his dumb double face into the dirt and give him a scar to even out his lopsidedness. I don't want the medal. Izuku didn't force him. I don't want that gold shit. I want a rematch. I know, 𝐀𝐦. I know. Izuku looked at the crowd, slinging an arm around Katsuki, and to those who are in the crowd, believing in 𝐀𝐦 and myself. Thank you for your support. Katsuki looked at Izuku, holding the cursed medal that he didn't want for himself as All Might led the chant of Plus Ultra. Take it. Huh. Kakin, why? I wouldn't have gotten it without you. You've been helping me from day one, and I really don't feel like I deserve it. Katsuki explained, stepping closer and placed it around his neck, smiling at him as Sakurai leapt up to give him kisses. Besides, you'll never get a chance to compete in one of these. I have 2 more years. I'll earn one then. With everything I have, despite when some fuckers decide to hold themselves back because of a shitty supposedly noble reason. I'm thinking. I'm speaking. Izuku's quirk songs. Flashbacks a bitch. Despite the fact he tried to say otherwise, Katsuki was not okay after the sports festival. The blonde was feeling all sorts of emotions at once, staying in his dorm. He spent time with Izuku, Sakurai, and his darling Princess Killface of course, but he was still not doing good at all. Dissociating on some days, and when he wasn't, he would write down his jumbled thoughts on loose sheets of paper, being careful with Izuku for him to not see them. Today, they were allowed to go home, and Katsuki went back to his apartment. Albeit it was empty considering there was no food left and his dad wasn't home. Not to mention it was a mess. About 20 minutes into being alone at the apartment, Izuku smiled and entered his room, looking adorable as ever in a simple baggy black sweater that was likely stolen from Katsuki in a pink pair of cargo pants. I found your new song, so I had some work done to doll it up and make it so we can sing it together when you feel bad inside. The brunette kissed him on the cheek, grabbing an acoustic guitar from its stand as he sat on the bed with Katsuki. Izuku wasn't stupid. He knew his friend wasn't okay mentally. But instead of forcing pills down his throat or making him go see a doctor who would only diagnose some things and not others, Izuku's method was more creatively done. Each time Katsuki dissociated, he'd take whatever jumbled thoughts were on loose sheets of paper and turn them into another song they could sing to get out his feelings in a constructive, non-harmful way. Izuku began a tune on the guitar, beginning to sing. Izuku please, I'm fine. I'm always fine. Katsuki tried to tell him. It's just a stupid competition. Just as I was about to take my shoes off, on the rooftop there I see a girl with braided hair here before me. Despite myself, I go and scream. Hey, don't do it please. Whoa, wait a minute, what did I just say? I couldn't care less either way. To be honest, I was somewhat pissed. This was an opportunity missed. Katsuki frowned a bit. A reason he came up with, his heart was in pain every time he was with Izuku. Zuku, please. The girl with braided hair told me her woes. You've probably heard it all before. I really thought that he might be the one. But then he told me he was done. For God's sake please. Are you serious? I just can't believe that for some stupid reason you got here before me. Are you upset cause you can't have what you wanted? You're lucky that you've never gotten robbed of anything. Katsuki hadn't been robbed of anything. He was just waiting to tell the brunette how he truly felt about him. I'm feeling better, thank you for listening. The girl with braided hair then disappeared. Alright, today's the day, or so I thought. Just as I took both of my shoes off. There was but a girl short as can be. Despite myself, I go and scream. Katsuki bit into his lip. Once again, another reason. He was seen as an asshole, he was seen that way since he was a little kid. The blonde never fit in with anyone and has never been able to. The petite girl told me her woes. You've probably heard it all before. Everyone ignores me, everyone steals. I don't fit in with anyone here. For God's sake please. Are you serious? I just can't believe that for some stupid reason you got here before me. Cause even so, you're still loved everyone at home. There's always dinner waiting on the table, you know. The blonde was given somewhere that felt like a home, where he had food waiting for him. Someone who cared about his well-being. Despite the fact that everyone else doesn't like him or really want him around, he still had Izuku, no matter what. I'm hungry, said the girl as she shed a tear. The girl short as can be then disappeared. And like that, there was someone every day. I listened to their tale. I made them turn away. Every day he would think of a reason to not go through with anything. To get up and make his way out of the house. And each reason came up with the same logical ending. Izuku. And yet there was no one who would do this for me, no way I could. Let out all this pain. For the very first time, there I see someone with the same pains as me. Having done this time and time again. She wore a yellow cardigan. And yet, he didn't want to tell Izuku about everything wrong with him. He didn't want to burden him with that information. He didn't want to burden anyone with his issues. They just weren't a big deal. Izuku always found out though. And he was never mad, always greeting him with a smile and helped him. I just want to stop the scars that grow. Every time that I go home. That's why I came up here instead. That's what the girl in the cardigan said. Whoa, wait a minute, what did I just say? I couldn't care less either way. But in the moment I just screamed. Something that I could not believe. Hey, don't do it please. What to do? I can't stop this girl, oh this is new. For once I think I've bitten off more than I can chew. But even so please just go away so I can't see. Your pitiful expression is just too much for me. I guess today is just not my day. She looked away from me and then she disappeared. The hardest reason was the fact that he was alone for a lot of his life. He knows he could join Izuku, but it was hard to do it on his own. He can't operate well in social situations. Izuku knew that though. He would never really do interviews, and just answered questions as they came. He really did shine. And Katsuki just didn't. He was abrasive, scared, and sad. People messed with him a lot. Parents and teachers when they think he's not listening. Other kids who would yell at him and try to pick fights. Izuku always confronted them for him though. He always did. Izuku would probably kill a man for him if he'd asked. There's no one here today, I guess it's time. It's just me, myself, and I. There's no one who can interfere. No one to get in my way here. Taking off my yellow cardigan. Watching my braids all come undone. This petite girl, short as can be, is gonna jump now and be free. Katsuki was silent. Thinking back to middle school on the last day. He stood at the edge of their roof. Everyone was gone except for him. Jacket put to the side and his shoes off, ready to jump. Until Izuku hugged him away from the edge. I got the agency I wanted. They accepted my application. I'm officially a real idol, 𝐀𝐦. Come on, let's go get Katsudon and celebrate. Just give me a second. I'll be down there in a few. He had smiled at him. Proud that his friend was finally achieving his dream. I know you were gonna jump that day. Izuku whispered, hugging him and giving him a kiss on the cheek. I'm glad you didn't and that you're here with me. I'm glad you can see me and you grow as people, and I'm sorry that boy didn't give you a fair fight. I'm sorry he didn't fight you to your full potential. I told you, Izuku. It's fine. It's just a dumb competition is all. He was a little bit better, it still hurt a lot though since he felt like he wasn't worth the effort. Izuku didn't let go of him and was holding him tight as he hummed the melody of the song softly. I'll get over it. Just because you'll get over it, doesn't mean you won't still hurt until you're really over it. I'm hungry and Sakurai needs a walk. How about we go to that dog cafe I saw 3 blocks from here? Izuku smiled, kissing his cheek again. Katsuki nodded before smiling as he called for Sakurai. Even in his darkest days, Izuku was still there for him. Izuku was the reason for him to keep walking away from the rooftop and waking up every morning. I'm thinking. I'm speaking. Izuku's quirk songs. Katsuki singing. In the class of 1A, Katsuki was sitting at his desk looking at his phone. He had Sakurai with him today, feeling like he was gonna need him. He was texting Izuku as they waited for the teacher. DEKIRU, I hate doing ballet so damned early. DEKIRU, I mean, it makes my ass look great and I'm as graceful as a butterfly. DEKIRU, but why did I have to get such a strict teacher? Explosion skills, not RLY, well I'm sure it'll be over before you know it. Explosion skills, not RLY, I think we're doing hero names today. Explosion skills, not RLY, I don't know what mine would be though. DEKIRU, well, mine is my unit's name, seeing as I'm solo. Got my license so if my quirk comes out by accident I don't have trouble with the law enforcement if someone complains. DEKIRU, but I think your unit name would work. Explosion skills, not RLY, I was gonna put Lord Explosion Murder. Explosion skills, not RLY, too much anxiety my guy. DEKIRU, I think Ground Zero would work because 1, it's your unit name and 2, you make the ground zero with your explosions. No ground left, bye bye, equals, X smiley face 3, you are not a angsty 13-year-old on Twitch. Explosion skills, not RLY, Ground Zero is my alias though. I use it for other shit and just Explosion skills, not RLY, anxiety bouncing off the walls here. Cause like. Fuck man. Explosion skills, not RLY, I'm not creative with this shit. Explosion skills, not RLY, that's your thing. DEKIRU, just go with my name and you'll be fine, 𝐀𝐦. Besides, Ground Zero is your alias. Wouldn't your hero name also be your alias? Explosion skills, not RLY I guess. Explosion skills, not RLYK. Explosion skills, not RLY teach is here. Talk to you after. DEKIRU, 𝐬𝐬 Mr. Explosion talk to you later. Once everyone was back in their seats, everyone could see that Eraserhead had fully recovered from his injuries, no longer needing to wear bandages. Today during your informatics period, as I'm sure you're aware because of Midnight being unable to contain herself, you will be formulating your hero names. The formulation of your potential hero names is due to the nominations by pro heroes. The nominations from the pro heroes this year are more akin to expressions of interest in their potential futures. He explained, glaring at Midnight when she arrived, showing off the tally of nominations, showing that the nominations were a lot in Katsuki's favor, as well as Todoroki. Regardless of whether or not you received nominations, I will be having you go get workplace experience. And while you did get the first-hand experience at the USJ unfortunately, I think that experiencing the activities of pro heroes firsthand will prove to be more fruitful training. I'm not creative at all, so Midnight will be evaluating your hero names. Do not mess up, because the way your futures end up will depend on the image projected by the hero names you choose. Midnight gave Class 1A 15 minutes to decide on hero names. After 15 minutes have passed, each student started to reveal the hero name they chose. She called up the first person, that being Todoroki. He held up his whiteboard, the words on it just read, 𝐬𝐬. Katsuki scrunched up his nose a bit, that's fucking gay. He mumbled. Not even the good kinda gay. Sparkles came up next, hold your breath, he whispered dramatically, slowly raising his sign. The sparkling hero, I cannot stop twinkling. Earjax slammed her head on her desk. It would be better to remove the I and shorten the cannot to can't. Midnight said, editing his name. Earjax's head shot back up, looking utterly shocked. English or French? Which one are you? 𝗍𝗲𝗍𝗃 shouted from his seat, looking equally confused as to why that's a decent hero name. Ashido came up next, looking incredibly proud of herself. I'm the hero, alien queen. Midnight turned pale. Like that horrible monster with the acidic blood? I wouldn't if I were you. Ashido pouted. Ah, why? It could make people afraid to cut you. Ashido, think of another. 𝐀𝐦 raised her hand to go next, walking to the front of the room. I've had this in mind since elementary school. The rainy season hero, 𝗲𝗲𝗄. That's so cute. Midnight cooed. A good sample of a name everyone will love. 𝗲𝗲𝗄. 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 Then I'll go next. Kirishima announced, slamming his board down. The sturdy hero, Red Riot. Like Crimson Riot? Yeah. Kirishima said nervously. It's pretty old-fashioned, but he's everything I want to be as a hero. Midnight smirked. Bearing a name you admire, it's all the more pressure. I'm prepared for the challenge. The rest of the class turned back to their boards, thinking as hard as they could. Earjax started talking with Kaminari about the name 𝐬𝐬, which was actually good. A damned shame it was a tease on his jamming. She escaped his offended noises by walking to the front. Hearing hero, earphone jack. Nice. Next. Tentacle hero, tentacle. Tentacle with some octopus thrown in. Taping hero, cellophane. Short and to the point. That's important. The next one to go up was Uraraka, the zero-gravity hero, Uravity. She smiled. Simple and yet, to the point. Other names were thrown around, but eventually, everyone but Katsuki was left. All that's left is you, Bakugo-san, what are you going to choose? Katsuki looked down at his board, petting Sakurai gently as he showed the board. The explosion hero, ground zero. He grumbled. Excellent. Very mature. Midnight gave her seal of approval. Katsuki just shrugged and set his board down. The rest of the day was normal after that. During lunch that day, the Baku squad sat together and talked about who they were going to go to during their internships. Kirishima looked at Bakugo. So who do you plan on going with Bakugo? He asked. Katsuki looked at him, I'm going to be going with Izuku. Since he specifically asked for me. Wait, what? Zuchan is a pro hero? Ashido asked. He has his license since his quirk can activate when he's singing. So on record, he is a hero and as such can use his quirk and do internships. He explained. Ooh, I see. Wait, didn't you get a Best Jeanist nomination? Kaminari asked, he's more popular, isn't he? The man sees me as some beast to tame. He rolled his eyes. Plus Izuku is going on tour for the week. And I'm his MUA. So it all works out. Izuku came up to them. I hate ballet. He said, sitting in Katsuki's lap and hiding his face in his neck. Katsuki wrapped an arm around him. At least it's over for today, Green Bean. He smiled softly. Whoa, is that DEKIRU? It was someone from 1B, goddammit. And it's probably time for you to blast. Katsuki sighed, he would rather Izuku not get swamped by people. But I wanna cuddle. My thighs are on fire after doing petit allegro. He whined. You're warm, let those guys come. I don't care. Yeah, but some of the people in 1B and 1A probably won't be as chill about it as these idiots are. He gestured to the Baku squad. Is that a compliment or an insult? Zuku, stay away from these people because they'll hound you, the only ones safe are my band of idiots. I mean, not wrong. Kirishima snickered. Shut up. Katsuki pouted a bit, looking back at Izuku. I'm serious though. Some won't be as chill. Izuku flipped him off, let me have my warmth, dammit. If they come too close, kick their asses. Is this the elusive soft Bakugo? Kaminari gasped. Pikapi, shut up. I will put you in a chokehold and throw you off a cliff. Izuku glared at him. Kaminari did the hands of don't hurt me. Soon all of 1A was surrounding them. How is this real life? Tsu, pinch me, I'm dreaming. The angel is held by a demon. Such saccharine moments. Katsuki subtly held onto Izuku a bit tighter, both to make sure Izuku doesn't get swept away and two, so the blonde doesn't freak the fuck out because oh my god, people surrounding me and my greenette, what the fuck, this is too close for comfort. I'm gonna suffocate. Kaken, can you introduce me to each of your classmates? We may as well make this an AMA. Katsuki grumbled a bit, Izuku, these are the idiots in my class. Sparkles, Bird Face, Diabetes, Octopus, 𝐬𝐬 Ponytail, Ida, Ghost, Uraraka, Tail, you already know my personal band of idiots, Earjacks, Disney Princess, Diaper Great Fucker, and Todoroki. Izuku sat up better, subtly hiding Katsuki with his outfit, which was just a big baggy black hoodie that Katsuki owned, a pair of baggy olive green cargo pants and a comfortable pair of sneakers. Pleased to meet you, feel free to ask me anything until lunch is over. Izuku smiled, leaning back into Katsuki as Sakurai nosed his way into one of Katsuki's hands. Katsuki gently pet Sakurai as the class asked their questions. A few questions were thrown their way. The first one, how do you come up with your songs? My songs are all based on what I'm inspired by. Sometimes it's heroes, other times, fashion, makeup, seasons, feelings. It all depends really. I'm actually working on a song as tribute to 𝐀𝐦 since it's told that he won't be able to walk anymore, which is a damned shame. I do hope they catch that dastardly hero killer. Who designs your costumes? Was the next one, this one from Ghost. Oh, that's easy. All my costumes and clothes for that matter, are made by Kaken's dad, Masaru. He's a fashion designer who travels frequently and always sends me his latest fashions for me and Katsuki to wear and model. Izuku smiled, this pair of pants is actually from a jungle-themed outfit and the top is something I stole from Kaken because it's comfortable. Fact, stealing other people's comfy clothes makes them 10,000 times more comfortable. How do you put up with Blondie's bullshit? Resident Great Fucker asked. Kaken's just loud and abrasive, but that means he's got a sweetheart in the center. Izuku said, we've been friends since before we could walk, so I suppose if you want a neurotypical answer, I naturally have a defense against it. For those neurodivergent, I am his fixation and he is mine. The bell rang after that, the class groaned but went off to head back to class. Izuku kissed Katsuki's cheek before hopping off his lap. Do you want me to take Sakurai or are you going to bring Fur Baby back later? I'm gonna bring him back later. We aren't training today since it's the last day before internships. Plus, crowds. I don't do crowds. Katsuki told him. Fair, love you Mr. Explosion. Izuku smiled before he was about to walk off to the dorms to get their things packed for the tour bus later. Ida stopped him. DEKIRU. Could I ask you a question real quick? Ida asked him. Oh sure. I'm not sure you have enough time to get to class on time if we chat real quick though. Izuku nodded, looking at the young Ida. You have known Bakugo-san since you were children. He told me that he works and helps his father with the bills and taxes. Why does he have to do that? And is he really okay out of class? He seemed really concerned, and who wouldn't be? Izuku smiled sadly, Kaken's mother isn't a mom. She's never paid real attention to him after his second year when he was diagnosed as autistic, and it didn't help when Uncle Masaru stopped her from striking him when he was found playing with her makeup. So they divorced on Katsuki's third, and now she's off doing whatever while Masaru does his best to keep their home. To be honest, if he's not working at the beauty supply store where he gets his MUA things, he's working at my talent agency as one of the top MUAs there. And to be really honest, 𝐀𝐦 likes to think he can hide these things from me, but he can't. I know not having a stable family really bothers him. Izuku looked up at the sky. Clinically, 𝐀𝐦 has general anxiety, ADHD, PTSD and minor agoraphobia. I never would have thought. Ida muttered. He's very lucky to have a friend like you. Oh, and Ida. Izuku smiled at him, for 𝐀𝐦 to call you by your last name means you've gained his respect. So don't give up trying to be his friend, because trust me, when you get past the tough exterior, 𝐀𝐦 is a sweetheart just like the dog he has to support him emotionally. Ida smiled and nodded, before going off to class. He won't be overbearing, but he was going to try and gain Katsuki's friendship. The blonde needed a few good people, and maybe it can help Ida deal with what is going on with his brother. Later that day, Izuku had met him in the dorms. Everything is packed and ready to go on the tour bus, 𝐀𝐦. Alright. Then we should be ready to go then. Katsuki nodded. Sakurai was of course with him. Well, kind of, he was getting pets from the Baku squad. 𝐬𝐻𝐻. Our tour list is, he listed off a few places. Oh, and we'll be in Hosu on Saturday for a show too. Sunday we'll be driving back here. Katsuki nodded. Alright, sounds good. You're not planning any funny business during your shows, are you? He raised an eyebrow. Maybe. Izuku teased. It is part of the work I do, and it's definitely better than starring in commercials with Iwabumi. I know, but Izuku, stage fright. He pointed at himself. The last time I did a duet with you was just during a rehearsal, and you remember what happened. I know, but you really do have a good range, baby boy. Izuku kissed his cheek again, and you know some of my quirk songs are better done as duets than anything else. I have no say in this, do I? Katsuki groaned as he carried his things out to the gates with Izuku. The Baku squad followed him. Wait, you're gonna make Bakugo do a duet? Kirishima smiled. I'm not gonna make him, but it would be appreciated, especially since Uncle Masaru sent us new unit costumes. Izuku said, if you're going to pout like that, 𝐀𝐦, then I'm going to make you because you look cute, and we'll just take precautions, or I'll use my quirk on you beforehand so you don't have another fit of hiding under a table like I was gonna take your temperature like babies get them. Katsuki's face burned brightly. Arg, fine fine. He huffed, crossing his arms a bit. Record it cause I wanna see him do it. Shiro told Izuku. Most of these are gonna be live shows, you can see them on TV. Izuku said, but yeah, if I have the time, sure. Lit. Shiro gave a thumbs up. You fucking meme. Katsuki rolled his eyes. Anyway, should we get going? I already dropped off my mail, paychecks, and shit yesterday. Yeah. Izuku nodded, but yeah, if you're in those areas and you want to come backstage, just shoot Katsuki a text. Izuku smiled as two Secret Service type individuals packed up their things onto the tour bus. They were outside the gates now, just talking with them. We'll try and see you guys in Hosu. Kirishima tells them, gotta show the support. Right. You're going with fourth kind, right, Kirishima-kun? Izuku asked as Katsuki personally made sure that Princess Killface was situated in her tour tank, which was situated in the bus already. Kirishima nodded, yeah. So I'll make an active effort. He smiled. I'll make an effort too. Shiro nodded. Since I wanna see you get at it on stage again. Count us in. Ashido nodded and Kaminari agreed, and with that, Izuku got on the bus and waved. Izuku smiled, see you guys on Saturday then. Work hard, everyone. Show us how strong you've gotten by the time we're back at UA. The squad saw them off and soon, the two were off to start the tour. Katsuki flopped on his seat at the breakfast booth of the tour bus. So do you want me mainly doing MUA work? Or you actually going to make me do shit? Well, mostly MUA work, but I'm also having you train, 𝐀𝐦. Gotta make sure your reflexes don't go down. Izuku smiled. So afternoons and nights will be MUA/artistry idol stuff and the morning will be training, intense training. Don't think that just because you're with me I'm not gonna drag your butt to ballet. I wouldn't expect anything less, Izuku. He told him. I was asking so I know when I have time to do my own work and training. Plus you've dragged me into your classes before. Well, yeah. Oh, and 𝐀𝐦, since we don't have a show tonight, do you want to play some Animal Crossing? Izuku smiled, passing a bright red and 𝐴𝐻𝐻𝐿 sticker covered 3DS over to him on the table. I charged it last night. Katsuki smiled slightly and took his 3DS. Sure. I've got a bit of time to kill. He opened it up and turned it on. Izuku opened his own rose gold and Cinnamoroll sticker covered 3DS, and the two boys had fun complaining about Blathers and Reese. The week went on as planned. Katsuki would get up and train in the morning, both doing stuff on his own and with Izuku. Then he would work as an MUA during the afternoon and nights. Getting a bit more training in and spending a little time with Izuku before going to bed. Rinse and repeat. So far he hasn't done anything with a duet, which relieved him greatly. Today was Saturday, the two were now in Hosu and were getting ready for the show that night. As expected, the Baku squad was there sometime in the afternoon. Hey guys. Ready for the show? I plan on this one being really sugary and sweet, although 𝐀𝐦 has not sung a duet with me yet. Izuku smiled, hugging each Baku squad member. It was like they were his friends. You gonna have him do it tonight? Despite the sugary sweetness that may cramp his style. Kirishima smirked slightly. He's not Bakugo when he sings, Kirishima. He's 𝐀𝐦, and more importantly, Ground Zero, my lazy companion when we're in a unit together. Lazy? Kirishima raised an eyebrow. Please explain. It's a persona. He plays a grumpy card that can be persuaded with candy and money. Izuku explained, it contrasts with my excitability when we're on stage together since I say he needs to say cuter things if he's an idol. Ah, okay. Kirishima nods. Low-key that sounds like Eraserhead and Present Mix relationship. Kaminari piped up. Well yeah. In general, I've noticed that he and I are like Eraserhead and Present Mike in a way. The difference is that I'm an idol hero and Present Mike works 3 different jobs. I just focus on my studies and my work as an idol. I don't go out on patrols too often. He explained, Katsuki's my Eraserhead because he gets grumpy if I get too excited. Makes sense to me. Kaminari nodded. Where is the Pomeranian anyways? He's currently finishing up his makeup and then he's gonna do LMBGS makeup. They nodded, well mind if we wait here with you? Yeah. It's gonna take a little while. It's mostly 8 to 11-year-olds. 17 little girls. It can go well as one would expect. Izuku smiled, watching as a little girl came up to him. Hello Tomoko-chan. Did you get your makeup done by 𝐀𝐦 already? The little girl in a cute rabbit onesie nodded, the brushes tickled on my face, Izuku-senpai. She giggled, before realizing they had guests. Oh, senpai, are these your friends? Yeah. What's your name kiddo? Kirishima smiled, bending down to her height. My name is Ichihara Tomoko. The little brunette said, looking at him, her green eyes wide. Are you one of Izuku-senpai's friends? Yeah, we're his friends. I'm Kirishima Aijiro. Ashido Mina. Kaminari Denki. Siro Hanta. Tomoko nodded before looking at Izuku. Can they be part of the show too, senpai? Ichem. I dunno, you'd have to ask producer-san and them if they want to. Izuku smiled. In that case, this tiny little girl with big green eyes pulled out the weakness most people had. Puppy dog eyes. The Baku squad felt their hearts literally tug. I don't see why not, as long as it's okay with everyone else. Ashido smiled to the girl. Squealing in delight, the little girl stood up and held Kirishima and Kaminari's hands, dragging them with a surprising amount of force. That seemed to be her quirk it seemed. Producer Sama. The little girl called and the man in the business suit straightened up as Tomoko approached him with Izuku leading the other two, giggling. He knew this was going to happen. Can Izuku-senpai's friends be part of the show? She pulled the exact same look. The Baku squad were literally just thinking, what the fuck did we get dragged into? Before they saw a familiar blonde Pomeranian doing another little girl's makeup, being soft and sweet with her. Well, as long as they don't interfere with the show. How's your range, then? He scrutinized each of them. Izuku showed them how to test their range, before each of them tested it out. Kaminari was a barytenor, Ashido was an alto, Siro was a baritone and Kirishima had the exact same range as Katsuki. They're hired. They're perfect. However, this means that this work will be considered unpaid voluntary as you are not under contract. That's fine. Kirishima nodded. Bakugo-sama. You have someone who matches your range. Someone shouted to Katsuki who looked over and his face burned brightly. In that case, we gotta also make you guys sugary sweet and cute. Izuku smiled. Tomoko, can you gather some of your older friends to help me? That'd be very appreciated. Opening is in 1 hour, after all. Okay. Katsuki finished up with the little girls and went over, forcing the 4 to sit down. I have 1 hour to get you fuckers done. He grumbled as he got to work. At least Ishido has a base on, Kaken. That only means I don't have to beat her face as much. He spoke as he worked away at Kirishima. Working quickly to get a base on the other 3 so he can start the eyeshadow. Kirishima had to fight to not harden up. True. But at least they'll look cute for the show we're putting on. The sugary sweet Mother's Day special. We're performing it for Mom, remember? I know. Katsuki muttered, he's basically accepted Inko as his mother, but sometimes it still hurt a bit thinking about Mitsuki. Izuku flicked him on the nose when he passed by him to grab a hair bobble to do Mina's hair. You're dwelling on people who don't matter, Kaken. Perk up. Mom's watching us tonight and you know she'll blow your phone up if you look sad on live TV. We're just doing a skit since I know you're still chickening out on doing duets. I'm not chickening out. He huffed, and I'm fine. It's not a big deal. If I find you disassociating later I'm going to turn you into a blanket burrito and sing you all the lullabies I know. Izuku said dryly, finishing up with Kirishima's hair as Shiro was quickly dolled up by Katsuki. I'll be fine. Katsuki huffed. Look, if you really want me to do it I'll do it. He groaned. Consent, Kaken, Izuku sing-songed. Boys, 15 minutes to opening. The stage manager popped ahead in the doorway. Argek. I'll do it. God damn it. He was going to regret this later and he knew it. If you really don't want to, I won't make you, but that means Kirishima has 2, Izuku teased, kissing him on the cheek. We'll be out, Tada-san. Ready for uneven speedster's reveal. He sighed, Kirishima won't know it. I'm doing it, Katsuki smacked his face a bit to get him out of a haze. Sakurai came in wearing a flower collar and was chewing on a plush ingenium. If that's not foreshadowing, I dunno what is. Izuku sighed, but made sure that he said this directly at the CCTV cameras. Ida's in Hosu, isn't he? And so is the hero killer. They make their way here, you have permission to use quirks. He smiled charmingly, as a idol with a legitimate license, I have that ability. The Baku squad nodded and followed Izuku and Katsuki so they can watch from the sidelines until the whole skit thing came up. Katsuki was still softly hitting himself to keep him focused and to not freak the fuck out. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Mother's Day show, featuring the Little Marching Band Girls Parade and your sweetest idols, DEKIRU and Ground Zero. Izuku said, we have some special guests here with us tonight, some friends from school, what have you. We decided to let them join tonight as special thanks for being there for us. Please welcome them kindly. You know it's too early for this, DEKIRU. I haven't even gotten a full night's rest of 10 hours. Katsuki faked a yawn as he pouted over at Izuku. Do we have to say all their names now? Ah, you're an idol, Ground Zero, you have to say cute things, Izuku smiled, but yes. Welcome our guests sweetly and I'll give you some candy before our little friends start their songs. Ah, candy. Gimme, please. He tried to reach over to reach past Izuku to grab it. You gotta do it first, Ground Zero. Izuku giggled, holding it out of his way. Fine. Katsuki pouted, before looking out and smiled. Why don't we have the little marching band come out? He motioned for the little girls to come out. After all, they are just as special as the other dummies. Ah, when I said that just now, I thought of gummy candies. I'll give you candies after our friends start to sing their songs, Ground Zero. Izuku pouted as the girls all giggled and rushed out on stage, saying each of their names. Ah, fine. I guess I'll bring the dummies out. He stuck his tongue out at him, before bringing them out. First up, the one who is just as sweet as candy, my one and only love anyways, please give a warm welcome to Candy Riot. The crowd applauded and gave a warm welcome. Ooh, next we have Shinx, he sounds just like one when he sneezes, how cute. Some of the audience awed at that. It was most middle schoolers to college-aged people in the crowd. Next we have BG Tape. Don't try to actually go for his tape though. Katsuki leaned in and stage whispered. I tried it and it doesn't taste like candy. It's a lie. And finally, we have Rose. Strong, smart and definitely deadly like one. Izuku giggled, she definitely smells like roses. Kirishima waved out to crowd, oh hi. Wow, there sure is a lot of people, why that makes me a bit nervous. He smiled as held his hands together in front of him. Roses are red, violets are purple, you all look lovely today and I can't rhyme to save my life. Rose waved happily. Roses are my passion and so are you. Ooh, I did it. Whoa. 𝐀𝐦 looked out into the crowd. There's a whole lot of people. That's so cool, I bet it's gotta be a super big room to hold everyone. He bounced on the balls of his feet a bit, grinning from ear to ear as he waved. Hello, Hosu. 𝐬𝐶 smiled, waving slightly out to the audience. My, looking lovely as ever. The show went on as lovely as it could be, with commentary on the girls as they performed a few songs. After the last song the girls sang that was about them growing up, a body was kicked onto stage. Izuku took control immediately, as it was revealed to be Ida with the hero killer on hot pursuit. Izuku signed something to Katsuki and the little girls. The show must go on, let's make a game out of this and kick ass. Girls, evacuate with a game. Nyaho I. All of us are going to sing as ground DEKIRU. Izuku called, falling into a fighting position. Our lovely audience is going to follow our marching band out and get some more singers for our song. What? We're already singing. I better get more candy for this. He pouted before getting into his position. The Baku squad was processing the situation before it hit them like a ton of bricks, deciding to roll with the punches. The little girls immediately began playing their instruments as they led the crowd away from the stage, outside as some people called the police. We're singing, Ground Zero. Get ready, ready. Come on, Ground Zero, stand up, stand up. Hurry up. See, it's already starting, Izuku said as a few of the girls took Ida away and carted him off to get some medical assistance. Of course, Stain lunged at them, but Izuku blocked him with a giant swirl lollipop that disguised the bow staff. I don't want to start yet. Katsuki whined, standing up and turning to Izuku. The song is starting. 𝐻𝗧𝐢𝐬. It can't start now. Kirishima added. Let's do this. 𝐀𝐦 giggled, smiling brightly. It is not a matter to lose your head over. Let's go, let's go. Mina shoved them to get them moving. What the fuck is wrong with you guys? Why is that children decide to interfere with my work? Before he could give a retort, Izuku decided to begin the song. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We see the world really differently, but we gotta go at super speed. Izuku hit Stain with each count of the number with his bow staff lollipop, keeping himself at a distance because he already knew what Stain was like. A cut and he licks it, then you're out. Stain growled, that child who I was about to kill. You can't call him a hero. He's here for vengeance and nothing else. We get it, Mr. Stab. In today's world, the title, hero, is a job. It's a job, Stain, get it through your thick fucking skull. 𝐻𝐡𝐢𝐬 yelled, shooting some acid to make a stage prop fall and block the incoming knives. It's definitely tough, but as long we're together, we won't be scared. Gotta push through with all our might. As long we're together, it's no problem. Katsuki used it to carefully get behind Stain and blast an explosion, mainly to give him distance from everyone and disrupt his hearing. 𝐀𝐦 stepped forward and kicked him into a pile of cute plush candy decorations on the set. 𝐬𝐶 quickly made a tape web, but it took time, so the others used it to distract him. Yes, once we stand on stage. ASAP. No matter what. No matter when. No matter how. With twin minds. HM. Oh yeah. Are you guys up for it? Kirishima ran around, and when Stain got too close, he used his quirk and shoved him back. Being unable to be cut because of his hardened skin. If need be, Katsuki would always make his way over to send a blast at Stain, to keep his disoriented and deafened. At full speed. Let's run desperately, Virum. Goin' speedy as always. Spread some love. So that we don't separate. Come with me, hey, baby. Uneven speedster. There are definitely, only a few things that even I don't want to teach, but gotta communicate like this with all our might. Let's face forward and go. 𝐻𝐡𝐢𝐬 used her acid to keep Stain away from the exits, while 𝐀𝐦 came through and provided a swift kick and mocking call to come to get him before backing up as Stain heated it. To protect 𝐀𝐦, 𝐻𝐡𝐢𝐬 blocked off Stain with more melted stage props. Enraged at these students playing him, Stain always tried, but the intense ringing in his ears made it so he couldn't figure out which direction they went. The game went on as planned. Yes, once we bathe in the light. ASAP. No matter what. No matter when. No matter how. With minds ready to try. HM. Oh yeah. Are you guys ready? At full speed. Let's run desperately, 𝗓𝗲𝗄𝐬. Going crazy now. Scatter smiles around. So that we don't stumble. Come with me, hey, baby. Uneven speedster. They kept on their game of cat and mouse. Providing a swift hit, kick, or shove into the wall as they all worked together to tire him out and throw him off. It seemed like their energy was just unending. Izuku bashed him across the head with the bow staff, slamming Stain into a wall like he was a tennis ball, almost there. We're coming, BG tape. As long we're together, it'll be alright somehow, mode activation. As long we're together, it'll be alright somehow, mode activation. Come, without thinking about anything, in the speed of sound. Speed of light. Open your heart. Hold hands. Speed up. 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 1, 2, go. No matter what. No matter when. No matter how. With twin minds. HM. Oh yeah. Are you guys up for it? Are you guys ready? At full speed. Let's run desperately, 𝗓𝗲𝗄𝐬. Going speedy as always. Spread some love. So that we don't separate. Come with me, hey, baby. Uneven speedster. With one final chase and swift movements, the group brought Stain to the finished web, making him get caught as the web collapsed onto him. Zero quickly stuck the tape around into a makeshift straitjacket as Stain fainted from the pain. And that's it, my friends. Ground DEKIRU has sung its next duet, Uneven Speedster. Peace, love and happiness. This is your idol hero, DEKIRU, out. Bye-bye. Katsuki waved. DEKIRU, I want my candy. The rest of the Baku squad waving by as the live recording ended. Once the cameras were off, Izuku sighed in relief, ugh, my throat is dead. But, at least we got the hero killer. We'll need to talk to the police though. Are any of you guys hurt? I know we were speeding around the stage and the theater lots. He said as Zero taped the hero killer's mouth shut. We're fine. Kirishima told him, panting a bit as they all took a moment to catch their breath. When they walked outside the theater, the heroes who found them were utterly shocked. 5 teenagers and a top idol, not at all badly hurt and bleeding, not even a scratch, dragging the most dangerous serial killer of the age from a roll of braided tape that was fashioned into a rope. When Izuku introduced himself as another pro and tells them that they didn't break the law by using their quirks because Izuku gave them permission, they were even more surprised. You 3. Ida said suddenly, ignoring the pro who is trying to get him to sit down so he could be healed as the rest of the group was getting looked over by paramedics. I am very sorry. They looked up to see Ida bowing to them. If it were not for me, all of you would never been put in this dangerous situation where you acted so carefree, while I just sat by and did nothing. I was acting immaturely out of vengeance, and I hope you can forgive me. Ida. It's fine. Katsuki told him, his voice a bit hoarse since he hasn't sang in a while. Don't pull shit like that again and let someone get you healed. Izuku nodded, just relax. Look out dash. Suddenly a creature wrapped its claws around Izuku's waist, and the green net was flying. It was bleeding all over his cute outfit, from one of its gaping eye sockets. Oh hell no. Blood is not getting on this. Izuku. Kaken. Throw me a knife before this thing gets too high. Izuku yelled, being level-headed. Katsuki looked around and found one of Stain's knives, throwing it to him while internally freaking out. Izuku grabbed it with precision, stabbing the creature in its exposed brain before it got too high in the air. It squealed in pain before Izuku also stabbed it in the wings, stabbing it repeatedly. Before long, it began to fall to the ground, about 10 feet away from where Katsuki and the Baku squad were. Izuku, are you alright? Katsuki ran over to where the creature was free-falling. Izuku looked at them, panting. But before he could get the words out, he fell unconscious due to all of the adrenaline and that he was bleeding from the creature's clawed grasp. Izuku. 𝐻𝐡𝐬𝐬 grabbed him before he could hit the ground and rushed him to the medics, immediately following the medics rushing Izuku to the hospital so he wouldn't get any more serious injuries. 𝐻𝐡𝐬𝐬 and Izuku's gracious producer and his assistant, the ever-sweet and motherly Fujimura-san, explained to the police that Izuku was a professional hero who gave the Deku squad permission to use their quirks to defend themselves, providing CCTV footage and footage from the 𝐓𝐡𝐢𝐬. Interestingly, besides the obvious wreck of a fight that the studio went through, Izuku and 𝐻𝐡𝐬𝐬's friends were a hit, with high demand for Izuku and 𝐻𝐡𝐬𝐬 to make a unit with the Deku squad from the comments on the YouTube live chat. Izuku was going to be fine, they knew, but it didn't stop the leader of the squad from getting anxious and deciding to take Sakurai to the park with him alone. He gave strict orders to Kirishima for when Izuku was out of surgery, because of the wounds that needed to be stitched. With that, 𝐻𝐡𝐬𝐬𝐬 had left to the park, keeping a leash on Sakurai until they entered into the dog park property. It was empty. 𝐻𝐡𝐬𝐬𝐬 undid Sakurai's leash and let him run around a bit while he sat down, taking out a small ball when the dog came back to him, throwing the ball for him to catch. As he waited for Sakurai to come back, he put in his headphones, being careful to adjust the volume of his hearing aids. Before pressing play on a certain song Izuku made for him, the music started and he sighed, singing along to the lyrics. Easily playing, never bat an eye. Weeping and posing, another perfect alibi. Every day lonely, I'd rather play a game. Like a slow-running stream of honey I crave. Looking at you now, yes, and even you. Was I unneeded? Was I just in the way, too? Call me a phantom, never meant to be. Couldn't be more fun to party and scream. Mitsuki was not a mother to 𝐻𝐡𝐬𝐬𝐬. She gave birth to him, but not once did she hold him, feed him, or really acknowledge him. She left him home alone a lot, going on these extravagant trips to Europe or anywhere really. Her job as a model came first, it seemed. She would argue with Masaru a lot, mainly about money and 𝐻𝐡𝐬𝐬𝐬. Always talking about the bills that needed to be paid. How 𝐻𝐡𝐬𝐬𝐬 was just taking up more of that time and money. He never told Masaru that sometimes she did smack him upside the head a few times. Now. My, oh walk your way to me. Clap your hands, we're traveling to the beat. Why, oh hurry up and leave. And again I come to see, I've been a very bad girl. Dreaming in color, burned it in my mind. But then I wake up with black as raven hands alive. Well, I was chosen to burn inside. Couldn't be more fun to whistle and sing. Occasionally, Mitsuki did bring him along on smaller trips, but only to be used as an object. Everyone always thought that she was a wonderful mother. Or pitied her because of her small, sickly-looking son. She would soak it all up, and leave 𝐻𝐡𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 in the dust. Masaru found out that she was cheating on him, and wanted a divorce from her. That was the main reason along with her neglecting 𝐻𝐡𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬, but there were more. Mitsuki would drunkenly strike him when she found him playing in her makeup, too angry to realize her son had a raw talent from an early age with makeup, but Masaru would stop her from killing him and they'd have a massive fight. Mitsuki never wanted 𝐻𝐡𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 vaccinated either, she believed it would only make him weaker and develop autism. However, Masaru got him vaccinated anyways, despite her wishes, because he wasn't about to let his already allergy-sensitive child get the measles or some other deadly disease before his 5th birthday. When Mitsuki found out, the day that he was diagnosed as autistic, she had screamed and raged for hours that it was all because the evil vaccines and now 𝐻𝐡𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 won't live a good life. Faye, not like she cared. Before they had their screamed discussion, however, the frail little 3-year-old was taken to Izuku's house to go play, as Masaru didn't want him to hear what obscenities were spoken that day. Masaru had told him the exact contents of that conversation, years later, when 𝐻𝐡𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 finally realized that Mommy and Daddy didn't live together anymore and Mommy stopped coming home altogether. When Daddy had to break it to Mommy that his son was beautiful and perfect despite his imperfections and if that she didn't like it, she could get out of his house. Now. Crawling out tonight and see. Everyone up scrambling to the beat. Easy, envy all you need. Dancing on without a clue, she's been a very blind girl. Counting 1, 2, 3, and 4 you better go and hide. Hiro-kun, Haru-chan, 2 that I find. 3 and just don't be it, barely breathing out a sigh. You caught me before I could try. It was just him and his dad after that, but things were not easy after Mitsuki left. They had bills to pay, debt from Mitsuki as she was horrible at managing money, and loans from the debt that needed to be paid off. So, Masaru had worked more. He would travel for his work for months at a time, and when it wasn't that, he worked long hours, 6 days out of the week. 𝐻𝐡𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 remembered the few times he needed a glass of water very late into the night because he woke up from a nightmare in his early childhood. So, he came down the stairs, creeping ever so quietly, and he remembered seeing his daddy staring at the bills in his laptop in the living room late in the night, looking so tired. He never ever liked that look. So, he learned how to do the bills after just starting kindergarten. To send them in, and make sure they went in on time, even adding his own money that he would get if he really needed to. He took the time to learn how to file taxes in the first grade. He got a job as soon as he possibly could, when he and 𝐬𝐸 started middle school, using his paychecks to pay for what he needed and then adding whatever was left to help his dad. All his stress was just to help his dad, to ensure he never saw that tired, stressed look on his face again. Now. Walk your way to me. Clap your hands, we're traveling to the beat. I'm shivering slowly, raise a foot to leave. All alone sing bye-bye. Hey. Find me love, I'm on my knees. Reach a hand but pricks me until I bleed. Fine. Oh fine. Sown eyes I broke to see. We'll again come play the game, tomorrow, no one has to know. He sighed. Quietly as the song ended. Sometimes it really made him wonder if his birth mother ever truly cared about him. More than likely though, he knew deep inside himself that it was just fake and she never wanted him. She only wanted to save a dying marriage. Whatever the case was, he missed his dad more than anything. He just now looked down at his phone. Well, speak of the devil and it shall come, because his phone buzzed immediately after that afterthought and it was a text from Masaru. Daddy, are you awake, son? If so, please call. Social media is blowing up and I'm concerned. Pup, I'm awake. Give me a minute. Katsuki unlocked his phone and went over, dialing his dad's number, waiting for him to pick up. Masaru picked up right away. So, I was flying back to Japan tonight to surprise you and 𝐬𝐸, because my work let me have a break, but I didn't know why, but I found out when I checked Twitter. While scrolling through Twitter, I saw that you and 𝐬𝐸 were trending and there was a hashtag started, pup. It was 𝐴𝐴𝐷𝐾𝐸 and DEKIRU. So, I raise you this question. What the fresh hell happened while I was in Italy for not even 3 days? Dad, 𝐬𝐸 is fine. We just had an encounter with a villain. 𝐬𝐸 handled the situation fine up until a 𝐴𝐻𝐬 came. That's how he got hurt. Well, I would look on that hashtag, pup, because that hashtag is full of 𝐬𝐸 getting wounded and still stabbing the 𝐴𝐻𝐬. Was it? In the head with a knife. He sighed, it looked bad, Katsuki. Inko is going to spaz when she looks on the news later. It looks bad, but it was taken care of, I promise, Dad. Katsuki hoped that it would be enough to sate him. He could hear him sighing and said quietly, Dad, are you mad? No, I'm proud as hell of you boys, but still. Both of you promised me you'd be safe on that tour. He said, but I am proud that he defended himself quite well. Worried more than anything about him, but proud nonetheless. I didn't think we'd get attacked. Everything was going fine until that show in Hosu. I didn't know that was gonna happen. He knew he wasn't being blamed, but he still felt guilty. Baby boy, I'm not blaming you. If anything, I'm blaming that creature for ruining that cute outfit I made for 𝐬𝐸. Now, I'll be back in country in an hour. I want you to call me when 𝐬𝐸's condition is known and I'll tell you which airport I landed in because I made sure to get a Hosu flight. Okay. I love you, baby boy. I'm so proud of you for being so strong in the face of 2 monsters in one night and I want you to know that. He smiled, make sure you greet 𝐬𝐸 with a smile, okay? Your smiles are powerful, pup. They can make people grow tan. He laughed a bit, that is not true. He smiled, I love you too, Dad. And make sure you get some food and you sleep tonight, baby. Tomorrow we're having a daddy day and that means we're staying in our pajamas with 𝐬𝐸 and we're gonna do nothing but eat bad and watch shitty rom-coms. I will. He smiled softly. That sounds nice. That's my boy. Call me in a bit, flight attendant is looking at me weirdly. Tell them to fuck off, but I will. I'll text you once I know about 𝐬𝐸. Okay, baby. He hung up. Katsuki looked at Sakurai as he barked, very sad at the lack of his ball being thrown again. Katsuki sighed, and petted the dog, putting his phone and the tennis ball away. Sorry bud, gotta go back to the hospital now. The blonde put the cute pink leash on the service dog. We're gonna go see 𝐬𝐸, but no jumping, bud, he's got stitches. Sakurai barked and led the way, invigorated at the thought of seeing his green-haired fur dad. Katsuki sighed again but put on a smile. Today wouldn't be the day he confessed his love, but he'd put a smile on for 𝐬𝐸 anyways. The 𝗀𝐻 deserved that much, 𝐀𝐦, everything hurts and I want these stitches out. The 𝗀𝐻 grumped, with Katsuki pushing his wheelchair as they made it back to the dorms on Tuesday night. Saturday, Sunday and Monday were spent in the hospital for observation after Izuku's upper legs and waist were stitched up since they got punctured by the claws of the 𝗰𝐻𝗄. Thankfully, no bones were broken. I can still sing but being unable to move on my own sucks. I want my legs back, god damn it. Izuku, it's just until those stitches and cast come off. Recovery girl will speed things up, but you still have to be off of it. Katsuki said as they went to the common room. Kirishima opened the door for them as Mina was in the kitchen of the common area, working on making Izuku something warm to drink. Doesn't mean I don't want my legs back. I wanna dance. When I'm like this I feel like a cold, unmoving porcelain doll. Izuku pouted as he was wheeled right next to one of the couches. Ah, that reminds me, what do you think about your friends joining us in becoming a more official unit? Well, I'm fine with it. As long as they are fine with it. Katsuki shrugged, sitting on the couch next to Kirishima. I'm fine with it. It was actually kind of fun. Kirishima smiled. Well, besides Yano, the whole hero killer ruining the stage. Fujimura-san was pretty understanding. Zero chuckled, setting up Mario Kart, sitting in front of the console station. Yeah, but hey. At least that fucker is behind bars. Kaminari smiled, taking a seat and grabbing a remote. The rest of 1A started to come in, and were surprised to see the idol there. I feel like an invalid. Izuku pouted, but was given a remote by Zero who sat on the love seat next to Kaminari. But you're very valid. You're also more Eraserhead. Why? Because you got wrecked by a 𝗰𝐻𝗄 too, but more badass because you stabbed the damn thing in the head. Kaminari pointed out. Thanks, I guess. Kirishima was the one to look over and see their classmates. Oh hey guys. He smiled. You all need something. They were so goddamn casual about the idol who literally got hurt by a 𝗰𝐻𝗄, and apparently stabbed it in the head while it hurt him. I call Rosalina. Her Loomis are cute as heck. Just sucks that Pauline isn't in the game. Izuku said, taking another controller. Mina sat down as well and gave Izuku his hot chocolate. It seems like the Baku squad wasn't going to address the elephant in the room. I'm getting Mario. Kirishima said as he selected the character. You literally are a Mario stan, even though you fucking suck. Katsuki snickered, choosing Bowser. Shut it. Kirishima snickered back at him, don't expose me like this. Are you at all going to address the idol that is currently in our dorms? Uraraka spoke up. I have a name you know, round face. Izuku piped up, deadpan staring at her as he sat in his wheelchair, drinking out of a crazy straw. Uraraka was at a loss for words, simply looking at Katsuki. You have corrupted him with your nicknames. Katsuki rolled his eyes, I didn't do shit. He actually respects you, don't piss him off and lose that respect, round face. I don't respect you because you refuse to look underneath the underneath. You haven't gotten to know 𝐀𝐦 at all, despite having his respect. Izuku said as he set down the mug, thank you for the hot chocolate, Mina. That was very nice of you. You're welcome, green bean. She opted to just watch, like Kaminari did. While it is nice to see you are doing alright, Midoriya-san. Ito looked to the Baku squad, shouldn't you four be doing your studies? Kirishima piped up, we're actually in charge of looking after Izuku when Katsuki goes to work, since he'll rip his stitches otherwise. Unfortunately it never ends. Katsuki sighed and it was just now noticed that he was wearing a shop uniform. And I'm teaching them routines now so they can become idols too. Izuku smiled, because it was fun and it's high time I have a proper unit. Singing by yourself is fun for only so long. They can sing. Uraraka gestured to the squad. Yep. Quite well, actually. I've been told that Denki-kun apparently sounds similar to a YouTuber called Jontron. That is true. Everyone always tells me that. Kaminari nodded. Kirishima rubbed the back of his head. Apparently Katsuki and I have the same range. It's amazing. Anyways, so yeah. They've been given special permission from Mr. Principal to train for that and study at the same time. After all, thinking on the fly is a valuable skill to have. Izuku smiled, finishing up his hot chocolate. The class just nodded a bit as Katsuki stood up, I'm off to work. Don't kill yourself or do something stupid. He told Izuku, going over to him. Okay. He pulled Katsuki down to his level by his tie gently, kissing him on the cheek, don't be a stranger, and remember, Dad's sending you some new stuff in the mail to pick up because he left yesterday. I will. I'll stop by to get it on my way home. Katsuki tells him, ruffling his hair a bit before leaving. Love you, Mr. Explosion. Izuku watched as he walked off. Kaminari took Katsuki's spot as Bowser. That guy needs to relax. One day of not working won't kill him. Kaminari muttered. I know, that's why I force him to rest on Sundays. Even if it means sitting on him all day. While the rest of their classmates went about to either watch the squad with their game, or went off to do their own tasks, Uraraka and Ida went over in the kitchen area. Uraraka was working away at making herself a cup of hot chocolate. It just seems a bit odd that they are talking like Bakugo works all the time. I can admit he does work very hard in class and during training, but why would he need to work if she was cut off when Izuku came in and ran over her foot. Oh, round face. Don't talk shit about my man, because although you may think that you're the only one with financial problems, you're not, so kindly shut the fuck up. Izuku said, putting his cup in the sink. That boy works harder than you'll ever fucking know. He's already 16 and doing taxes, having a stable, very high-paying job and on top of that, working to become a top hero. So don't act like he's lazy in any sort of way. At least you have two very lovely, always-at-home parents. Myself, and especially Katsuki don't. So don't count your chickens before they hatch. Uraraka gripped the cup she was about to put into the microwave. Fine. Izuku grabbed her by the tie and yanked hard, causing her to crash down and be on his level. You have never had to experience learning tax law at the age of 6. You've never had to learn that one of the only reasons you were born was because your parents had a failing marriage and your mother was desperate to try and save it. You've never been used to gather clout. As far as I'm aware, you've never been diagnosed with autism and then have your mother throw you away like yesterday's trash. You've never been left home at the age of 5 months with only a nanny while your mother went on a lavish trip to Milan for Italy's Fashion Week. You've never had to listen to your mother belittle you for things you can't control. Okay, I get it. I shouldn't be hard on Katsuki, even if he acts like a child. She tried to loosen her tie a bit. Izuku only tightened his hold. No. You don't. Katsuki doesn't act like a child. He's shielding his heart from heartbreak and from others to try and see what makes him weak. It's people like you who automatically judge him is why he never shows his heart fully. People like you are why I'm the only stable thing in his life. I'm the only one he trusts fully. Izuku hissed. And that is why you don't have my respect. She was rendered speechless, unable to think of a response as she was released the hold, rubbing her neck a bit as she looked at Izuku, shell-shocked. She left the kitchen with her proverbial tail in between her legs. Momo watched this happen from the breakfast nook and spoke up. I'm so sorry about her if she said anything to offend, Midoriya-kun. She's very strong with her opinions and stubborn as a mule. It's not a problem, Yaoyorozu-san. It just becomes a problem when her opinions and actions hurt him. He may seem tough, but in reality, he is really sensitive. In fact, he thinks everyone in this class minus the squad hate him and distrust him. Momo blinked a bit in surprise. Oh no, we could never hate him. That just wouldn't be right, but I guess Uraraka-san doesn't really help with that. She looked down a bit. We just don't know much about him since he keeps to himself and his group. Observations are everything with Kaken. You learn more from those than anything. Izuku said, struggling to open the fridge as Ida left after Uraraka. Oh, here. She went over and opened up the fridge for him. What do you need? I'm gonna make Kaken something to eat for when he comes back. He's always hungry after a shift. Honey lime salsa verde chicken tacos in the slow cooker so when he gets home he can have something to eat. Plus I got to feed his band of morons. He passed her a sheet of paper from a book he pulled out from the basket of his wheelchair. Salsa verde chicken ingredients. 2.5 pounds boneless skinless chicken breasts. 1 7-ounce can mild salsa verde, or in the jar. Half a cup honey. Half a cup lime juice. 1 red onion finely chopped, divided. 1½ teaspoons chili powder. 1½ teaspoons salt. 1 teaspoon garlic powder. 1/2 teaspoon smoked paprika. 1/2 teaspoon cumin. 1/4 teaspoon black pepper. Tortillas. Toppings. Cheddar cheese. Lettuce. Tomato. Cilantro. Avocado. Sour cream. Momo looked it over and nodded. I'm sure he'll like that. She smiled, then watched as he tried to get up. Oh Midoriya-san, you shouldn't be moving. She stopped him. Here. Let me create a table for you to use. I appreciate it. Though I still hate being treated like a goddamned invalid. Izuku grumped. I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend you, but I think Bakugo-san would appreciate you not straining yourself too much. Momo went off to the side and came back with a wheelchair height table. Here we go. Appreciated. Izuku sighed, before getting to work with grabbing the crockpot from a cabinet and setting it on the new table, plugging it in. You didn't offend me, anyways. I just hate the goddamned wheelchair because I know when I do ballet later once it comes out, these are gonna suck. Idolism isn't just vocal training, by any means. It's hard work. I can only imagine. Momo mumbled. But if it's something you enjoy, then that makes the effort worth it, doesn't it? Yep. Izuku said as he put the raw chicken into the crockpot before chopping up the onions, splitting it in half. It's very fun, but a lot of hard work. Hell, I had to get a provisional hero license at 12 because my quirk tends to activate when I'm singing. What is your quirk if I may ask? Siren. Whenever I sing, I tend to push and pull emotions out of others depending on the type of song, and I also tend to entrance people depending on how strong the song is. He smiled, so that's why I'm called the idol of all genres. Momo nodded, oh I see. That's really fascinating. She smiled, then thought. Midoriya-san, I'm not trying to be rude by saying this, but you said you wanted to create a unit with Bakugo-san and his friends, but... At the sports festival Bakugo-san seemed to freeze up on stage. Won't that cause some problems? Oh, believe me, it does. Izuku said as he unceremoniously dumped the rest of the ingredients in the pot, stirring it. Kaken has massive stage fright. If I don't use my quirk on him fast enough or if Sakurai isn't present, he tends to lose control of his bladder and revert to childlike behaviors of hiding under tables, crying. Isn't that a bit concerning? Considering you seem adamant on having a unit with him. Won't his stage fright hinder its growth? Heh, you've never seen one of my performances with Kaken, then. He and I already have a unit. Look up Ground DEKIRU and you'll probably see the performance from Hosu. But there's a few other ones. I'm particularly proud of Ground DEKIRU Mania. Izuku put the lid on the crockpot and set it on high for 4 hours. I'll look into it. Momo pulled out her phone and typed it into YouTube. Sparkles, apparently his name was Aoyama Yuga, Izuku was told, went up and saw the video. Didn't you just Bugs Bunny the hero killer? Sparkles asked. Why yes we did. Izuku smiled, innocently saying he was quite rude, kept trying to hurt us. Literally everyone but the Baku squad just stared at him, basically just having a what the fuck look, while the Baku squad just roared in laughter. The idol rolled back into the living room. What? Izuku tilted his head innocently, putting on the I'm a cute idol, why are you shocked look. It was literally silent after that. Katsuki came home at around 7:45, stepping into the common room and sighing tiredly, then immediately smelled the food. The explosive blonde looked at Izuku as he made him a few tacos to eat since he was so tired. Zuku, why? You are literally in a wheelchair. Is Kaken not gonna eat the food I made? Izuku pouted sadly, pulling the puppy dog eyes. Arg. Fine. Katsuki huffed and took the plate of tacos from Izuku. Don't think you're off the hook though. Izuku just smiled sweetly and laid his head back down on the pillow he was using when they went into the living room. The Baku squad was now watching The Hobbit, the Battle of the Five Armies. So what have you been doing this entire time? Zuchan's been fucking with our classmates, it was glorious. Mina snickered as she squeezed a lime over her tacos. I just said that the hero killer was rude because he kept trying to stab us. Izuku said innocently, watching the movie. Katsuki pinched the bridge of his nose, why are you like this? He was too tired for this shit. Because none of them besides a select few earned my respect. Izuku deadpanned before giggling sweetly, that giggle that could cure cancer and make people tan. Who would that be? Other than my band of idiots? Katsuki asked curiously, biting into a taco and almost moaning at how good it tasted after dealing with crappy customers at the beauty supply store he part-timed at. Ida-kun and Momo-san. He said, everyone else can get eaten by 𝐀𝐦 zombies. Well shit. He muttered. You really don't like them that much? Well yeah, they ostracize you and your group. Izuku said, pouting. You guys deserve to be taken seriously. Izuku, it's really not a big deal. Kirishima smiled slightly, as he set down a taco onto his plate. We're just kinda used to it. We got ourselves and a few choice people who aren't so bad. But it is to me and I want you to know that. Just because you're used to it doesn't mean you should have to be. You're all really smart even if you know memes better than I do. You deserve to be taken seriously just as much as Ida-san. Wishful thinking. 𝐀𝐦 piped up as he squirted some ketchup in his mouth. But no one will listen to me and my memes. But I like your memes, 𝗵𝗃𝗲. They make me laugh when I get them. Izuku tilted his head innocently. I am literally squirting ketchup in my mouth. 𝐀𝐦 shouted after squirting another shot of ketchup into his mouth. I know, 𝗵𝗃𝗲. You're Pikachu embodied. Izuku smiled, giving him a hug. The Deku squad just reaffirmed that they are the DEKIRU protection squad right then and there. Anyways, other than no one taking us seriously, did you fuckers actually make an attempt to try learning something? Katsuki looked over at his squad, putting down the taco he was eating onto his plate. They didn't. They were too busy trying to make me comfy even though I'm fine in the stupid wheelchair. Izuku piped up, letting 𝐀𝐦 go. Good reason, but you fuckers are not getting out of this. Katsuki sighed and stood up. I may be tired, but you need to learn something at least. The explosive blonde walked over to his room, grabbing 4 copies of a favorite song that he knew by heart, coming back soon after and handing the copies to them. Oh, Innocent Midnight Legend? Starting off strong, Izuku sing-songed, sitting on the couch with his foot leveled on the coffee table. Well duh. It'll help them pick up everything quicker. If they can do this, they can do anything. Katsuki smirked, as the Deku squad looked over the lyrics. I've never heard of this song before. Kirishima pointed out, looking at Katsuki. It's a Ground Zero song. Izuku told them, sitting up a little easier. Ground Zero, when not in contact with DEKIRU, becomes a rough and strong gang leader type rock idol who will sing his heart out instead of a very lazy idol who only cares about money and sweets. I wrote it myself. Katsuki admitted, I'm nowhere near as well known. Nor have I tried to be, the stage freaks me out. You are more likely to hear a recording than a live show, since they are more private and more comfortable for me. Izuku looked up the song on his phone, finding an instrumental version, and he made sure it was connected to the Chromecast of the TV behind them. Ready, Ground Zero. Make these idlings into swans. You got it. Katsuki smirked, motioning for him to start the song. He already marked the copies for the parts each of the other 4 to sing. Izuku nodded and threw him a toy microphone that he kept in his bag for the office workers of their agency who brought kids with them. Their producer loved children and Fujimura always liked showing kids around. I don't need any half-assed feelings, my way is always all out. My duty's to make you eat my dust, yeah. That's how we settle this. Come on. Come on. Alright, I'll be sticking close to you. The other students of 1A looked into the common room upon hearing the music, wanting to know what was going on. Aoyama, being the resident sneaky danger noodle, and seeing the Deku squad singing this song, pulled out his phone and started recording. My tail lamp lights the darkness, a shaking coastline's my backdrop. It ain't like me, huh? A sudden pain floats by on the sea breeze. If you're talking resolve, don't you know I prepared long ago? Follow me. The sea's glittering with stardust, my floating, lonely heart, only night, blow them away. This feeling's been sharpened to a point, I'm letting it loose, are you okay? Midnight, fighting spirits at the peak. A dream special attack, let's go. Now's the decision. The students couldn't believe how well they were actually doing this. Sure, the other 4 weren't as polished as someone like Izuku was, but they were certainly not too far from it. The song was upbeat and sort of like an rock song. Which J.Ru appreciated. A few of them just wondered who made the song, since none of them had heard it before. Now, outride your limits. Let's see our future that'll cut through the wind. Truth and justice, these are the moral codes a flower silently goes through. It's not like me to laugh about it, this is my way of life. If there's a kitten searching its whereabouts at a cold night, I would warm it onto my chest and say, no need to worry. Leave it to me. There's a big, high-staked gambling, so dreaming on, shining on more, even with one step. Now that I'd withdrawn my pride, I'll grab and take the brilliance. Midnight, with our burning bonds, will show you our willpower. It's pretty unusual. So shake off your limits. Now, let's launch an attack without a blink. The lonely-hearted angels are at it again today. Why are we even bothering with this? Guys like them can't sing. Grapefucker crossed his arms. Shut up, Grapefucker, no one asked you. J.Ru yeeted him back to his room. How can his range be that good? Toru said, he can't hear his voice, can he? Non-stop attack on a dangerous line, burn that flame of life. Baby, we've got running mutual love. It's a pretty feeling, don't look down on pure hearts. If you give it your all, your heart's a festival, so go ahead and enjoy it. Midnight, fighting spirits at the peak. A dream special attack, let's go. Now's the decision. Now, outride your limits. Let's go to our future that'll ride on the wind. Oi, 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 that's right, tonight is AI, a meeting of love. Boom, 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 now hear my heart's engine roar, it'll become a legend. As soon as they ended, Aoyama literally posted it with the caption, "Holy shit, how can these boys sing so well? What's the name of the song?" As the other students came in, Katsuki looked at his squad and then at Izuku. "So how was that?" Katsuki raised an eyebrow. "Excellent, 𝐀𝐦. Izuku smiled. "Do you think they'll be able to handle Beyond the Starlight by the time next term rolls around? If they keep up, they could handle it. A bit more polish is needed, then they'll be set." Katsuki nodded, then realized all the other students were there. "The fuck you looking at?" It didn't help his face was bright red, internally wanting to crawl into a hole and die. Izuku flipped himself into the wheelchair and wheeled himself to Katsuki. "Well, if they have bad thoughts, then they can be eaten by zombies," Izuku said, pulling Katsuki into a hug and letting him hide in his shirt. "Izuku, I'm fine," he tried to say, still dying internally. Kirishima looked at them, crossing his arms and frowning as the rest of the squad helped Izuku hug Katsuki. They stand being a protective squad, after all. Not cool to eavesdrop on someone. The rugged redhead frowned. At this, they all scattered like cockroaches. "I am going to make you a blanket burrito," Izuku declared, shooting off to Katsuki's room with the explosive blonde riding on, locking the door behind him. The next day in class, the video was blowing up and it came to light that Katsuki was Ground Zero, a popular idol who either did shows with DEKIRU and recordings. Katsuki was just dying internally still as he texted Izuku, "I'm thinking. I'm speaking." Izuku's quirk songs. "So, that whole exam was a ruse and now you're gonna go on a training camp far far away from me?" Izuku asked as they picked up some eggs for Princess Killface from the reptile store in the mall, having been dragged to said mall by the females of Class 1A, and most of the boys of 1A were designated bag carriers, except for Izuku and the Baku squad, seeing as they all hung out together and were excluded from larger class activities. Fucking elitists. I hope they know you're bringing Sakurai no matter what. They do. Since he's a service animal and they don't want to take any risks if I dissociate. Katsuki told Izuku, looking over different types of substrate, "Trust me, I'm not happy about it either. I hate being alone with my thoughts." Ugh. Izuku sighed, changing the subject from Katsuki's depression and dissociation to complain. "I have to do a forest cat food commercial and I hate it. The outfit is cute, yes, but I just don't the fact that I have to go into the forest. Or the fact that I have to work with a very pissy little kid and the wild pussycats because they're too catty. I need my dogs. We literally have a cat that I picked up last week," Katsuki pointed out. "There is only so much I can take of the Saki Kato before I need my cherry blossom doggo." Izuku pouted, before brightening. "Speaking of which, is Mina still on that cute dog stuff rampage? Should we relieve Kirishima and Siro from her?" "Probably. Eventually." Katsuki shrugged, putting a big bag of substrate into the cart. "Also Mr. Socks is a good boy. He likes to cuddle. There's only so much I can take of stab paws because he thinks I'm comfy," Izuku pointed out, putting the eggs for Princess Killface into the cart, along with a new water dish for her. "Fair." Katsuki nodded. "Katsuki, how many animals do you have?" Kaminari asked, the only boy of the Baku squad minus Katsuki to escape Mina's wrath. "Only 2, but when Katsuki and I graduate, we're probably gonna get another doggo," Izuku said, pushing the cart to the checkout and buying all of the things they picked out to Katsuki's chargin. "I want a small dog that can hide in my purse like Paris Hilton's." "Sue me. It's probably gonna be a Pomeranian or a Papillon. If you're talking about Mr. Socks, he's the cat I rescued last week when it rained pretty bad and he was left in a soaked cardboard box. Mr. Socks lives at the agency where Izuku and I work," Katsuki told the electrified blonde. "What's a Paillon?" Kaminari asked, unable to pronounce it correctly. 𝗵𝗃𝗄𝗄, Picapi. It's a cute dog breed hailing from Aoyama country, Waffle country and Spain. Izuku explained, showing him a picture. "Ah, okay." Kaminari nodded. "Also, eventually we have to go to the agency so you fuckers can get squared away with actual contracts. So you can get paid for this. And just so you know, it does act as a hero agency too," Katsuki told them, before they met up with Mina and the other 2, who held 2 full-size bags from the pet store. Hey, I'm hungry. Mina said, let's grab some grub. Hey, guys, you hungry? Yeah. Izuku nodded as they all set their bags at a table in the food court and he sat down, resting his feet. Let's split up in the food court and make a picnic. He smiled. Fine by me. Kirishima smiled. The Baku squad split up to get some food from the food court, Katsuki being dragged along with them by Mina, leaving Izuku to wait at their table as he needed to take it easy. Izuku felt a presence behind him and acted quickly, knowing exactly who it was. Izuku immediately jabbed pressure points hard as he knew he was about to be grabbed him and dragged off. Sorry Tenko, not today. How the fuck do you know who I am? A hooded guy who was coming behind him asked as he continued to move for a second before feeling weird. 3, 2, let's have a chat, then, shall we? As I'm sure you're aware, he smiled sweetly as Shigaraki immediately felt his body completely paralyzed and was caught by Izuku who sat him on the bench next to him, his head in the greenette's lap, able to see him fully. The lunch rush began, making the food court packed and hard to maneuver. I am an idol of 654 production. It is more than just an idol agency, it is like UA. Heroics, support, idol, marketing, information brokering, you name it, they do it. It's a massive conglomerate. With this in mind, do you think I wouldn't find out who you were, especially after you threatened my 𝐾𝐿 at the USJ? Shigaraki stared up at him, you really are something, aren't you? He smirked slightly, shame you hang with such a brat. A brat he may be, yes, but he's the one of my heart. I would be lying if I said that my agency doesn't deal with vigilantes. And I do admire those who actually punish child predators and rapists. Izuku smiled, Shimura Tenko, Shigaraki Tamura, you know, All Might is a fucking idiot, but let him die because of his own mistakes. Don't let young herolings get hurt in the mix, because you're no better than him in that regard then. After all, he was the one who crushed my original heroic dreams when I was young, because I was deemed weak for a non-visible quirk. However, though, I have found that being an idol is more fun than traditional heroism. Yet you are still considered a hero on paper. Why would you stay within a system that favors the powerful and popular? It's mostly for legality's sake as my quirk tends to activate while I'm singing. Izuku said, pressing a medical mask around his face to better hide his identity after fishing it out of his cute skull purse, though honestly, I think it's because I have some feeble hope in my mind that I'll be able to somehow manipulate this society into doing as I please if I become an influential idol. With how you've shaken faith in heroes time and time again, idols are becoming more popular again, and I'm technically the best of both worlds, even if I'm gray. I see both sides, and I understand them. You could say I'm like Switzerland. However, my Switzerland status, this changes with 𝐾𝐿 in the mix. He's my heart. Without him, I don't doubt I could probably take the world by storm, become super popular, even more than I am now, and what have you. But I like having 𝐾𝐿 around. He reminds me to take a step back. He reminds me to think things in a positive light. He reminds me that some great things can come out of terrible decisions. And yet he is the reason that stops you from spreading around the world. He is brash, loud, and rude. If people look into you, they will think. Izuku is such a sweet child, but that friend of his, he seems more villain. Izuku shouldn't be with someone so brash. Your friend is seen as a villain. We'd be doing you and your new unit a favor if we ever decide to go for him. As long as 𝐾𝐿 is safe, I'm happy. He is an allergy-challenged autistic child, you know. Mom gave up on him, everyone did. Like they did you, when they stopped looking for you because Sensei took you and enlightened you. I know the truth of the system too. How only 13 heroes were chosen at first, and the rest were culled. Izuku sighed, all I ask, is that if you ever decide to take him, take me too. He's my light, my world. I am his. Without each other, I don't want to even think about what could happen. How admirable of you to care for your friends so dearly. And yet, we only want one. Whoever we can get first. If your friend is as bad as I was when I was enlightened, then I think breaking him down and seeing reason would be far easier than you. A broken child is easy to break even more without their support. But it won't be as fun. It would be going easy mode, wouldn't it? Izuku chuckled, stroking some hair gently away from his face. You know, in another life, I would be happy to bitch about Animal Crossing with you. I still would be, if I'm honest. But really, it would be unlike you to go easy mode, Tenko. You'd much rather prefer someone who would fight you to both of your breaking points. Someone like me, who will counter everything you say. You are correct. Thus my original point stands, who will we get to first? That's the question. But I think, despite who you'll get, my music will always prevail in anyone's hearts. I'm DEKIRU, after all. The idol of all genres, the princess of general course. And what is a princess, without their court? Exactly. My chi blocking, it takes an hour to revive from. However, I won't turn you into the police, Tenko. That'd be too easy. Just promise me this. You'll give everyone a fair fight. And you won't bring that bondage freak who makes midnight look like vanilla bean ice cream when your retrieval group arrives. Very well. Shigaraki agreed. I will give my best attempt at a fair fight. Izuku smiled and kissed him on the forehead, gently, careful of his hands. I know your decay makes it so you can't enjoy things for too long without being careful, but how would you like a song about cherry blossoms while the paralysis heals itself? I promise when you make your escape I won't follow, nor my friends. I will merely say you are a friend from a rival agency. Shigaraki said nothing, literally processing the whole thing. Izuku just took a deep breath after retrieving one of his songs and began quietly singing to just him. Hey, let's see the flowers. Don't move now. There's a pink petal on your hair. Here, I'll take it off. Fu. My blooming emotion is on the rise, a very steep rise. Between the spring breeze and my fu, which one felt better? Papaya, by the way, the wind is still cold, right? Papaya, lean a little bit closer. Papaya, I'm too elated, I'm too excited, suddenly I'm in idle mode. Shigaraki subtly felt the feeling returning to his body, but nowhere near enough to move. Let's see the flowers, is how this shinobi was found and wanted. Party up, party high. Let's see the flowers, though I'd rather you look at me, party up, party high. But when you look at me, everything blooms to pink, just like how cherry blossoms would bloom. Let's see the flowers. Yay! Might as well be an idol, right? Party up, party high. Let's see the flowers. Yay! Empty Fuji, ninja, idol, party up, party high. Full bloom smile. Shine, 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 I did it. Weird, I got dizzy from this apple juice. Let me lean on your shoulder, la 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 la. Don't get me wrong, my red face is because I'm drunk with the flowers. To spin such excuses, what sinful lips I have. Shigaraki could now move his fingers, but focused more on Izuku. The greenette really was something special, as if he was out of a movie. Papaya, just stay right here. Papaya, I'll transform into an idol. Papaya, I sang with glee, I danced free, I'm in full-blown idol mode. Let's see the flowers, wait, it's no different from the usual live stage, party up, party high. Let's see the flowers, maybe the higher-ups would be mad at me, party up, party high. But when you look at me, everything blooms to pink, just like how cherry blossoms would bloom. Let's see the flowers. Yay! Flower blizzard tornado. Party up, party high. Let's see the flowers. Yay! This is how the Japanese celebrate spring. Party up, party high. Full bloom smile. Shine, 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 I did it. Shigaraki's thoughts were very possessive as the song progressed, his voice was so sweet. Someone would be lucky to have him. That brat didn't deserve him. Izuku deserves someone so much better. I know flowers wilt someday. But if I can entrance you, even for a moment, I'm satisfied. Someday when I remember this spring, I hope I can bloom the cherry blossom flowers. Right in your heart. Let's see the flowers. Yay! Flower blizzard tornado. Party up, party high. Let's see the flowers. Yay! This is how the Japanese celebrate spring. Party up, party high. But when you look at me, everything turns to pink, just like how cherry blossoms would bloom. Full bloom smile. Shine, 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 I did it. The feeling was almost all there, Shigaraki would be able to leave in a bit, but instead of trying to get up, he kept staring at Izuku, taking in every detail. That brat doesn't deserve him. Current society doesn't deserve him. He is an absolute angel. Let's see the flowers, is how this shinobi was found and wanted. Party up, party high. Let's see the flowers, though I'd rather you look at me, party up, party high. But when you look at me, everything turns to pink, just like how cherry blossoms would bloom. Let's see the flowers. Yay! Might as well be an idol, right? Party up, party high. Let's see the flowers. Yay! Empty Fuji, ninja, idol, party up, party high. Full bloom smile. Shine, 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 I did it. The song ended and Shigaraki stood up, looking over at Izuku. Until we meet again, princess. He smirked and went off. Izuku gave an idle smile, good to see you, Shimura-kun. Till our next meeting. He called, waving sweetly. The Baku squad came up to him with loads of food. Izuku, who was that? Oh, just another rival was all. He was from 221 Productions. Izuku explained, he wanted me to compare songs with him. You're fine, right? Katsuki asked. He was protective of his boy, no matter what. I'm fine. Izuku kissed Katsuki on the cheek, much better. Kaken, I don't like this shade of lip anymore, do you have weirdo on you? Let me see. Katsuki looked through his bag, I've got my favorite purple, but not weirdo today. I think I ran out yesterday. That's fine. I know what to get you for my birthday, then. Since it's your unbirthday. Izuku smiled, taking the liquid lip and applying it after wiping his lips free of the nude. It's not a big deal, Izuku. Katsuki mumbled, fixing up the edges a little bit. There. Thank you. Izuku kissed his cheek again once it dried. Much, much better. It matters to me. Weirdo is your favorite black, after all. We can't be having our lips looking like we sucked on a charcoal dick, ashy blacks can die. Well duh, weirdo is a godsend amongst the MUA. Just like you. Better. Work. Is a superb purple shade. Katsuki told Izuku, as they unpacked all of the food onto the table. How are you so good at this? Mina whined. You do makeup better than I do. Oh, that's simple. He's been doing my makeup since we were really little, and my mom never minded when we rated her stuff. So I was Kaken's guinea pig. Also, what you do now is what he did for me when we were 6, I wanna say. HNNNNNNN. She whined. Why must the gods forsake me with mediocre skills? It just's like drawing. Practice every day and experiment. Makeup is like art, and you can be as creative as you want. Katsuki shrugged. However, I want to say right now that I'm very proud of all of you for getting high marks on the end-of-term exam. Izuku said, also, if I get another question about if something is cat von Vax, I'm gonna throw a J-star mirror at them and beat them with it. Please use the popsicle one and not my star mirrors. Those are my favorite. Izuku nodded, but isn't the popsicle rare though? He asked as Katsuki sat down next to him after pulling out the items from McDonald's that the explosive blonde got for the picnic. True, the dark plum then. Those are still being sold if it gets damaged. Katsuki said as he ate a fry. Okay. Izuku nodded, smiling as he ate chicken nuggets and mashed potatoes. The training camp came sooner than any of them would have liked. Katsuki was grumbling a bit as he held Sakurai's leash, which he had to keep on until they were to go to the lodgings. Alright everyone, we're stopping here. Aizawa called, the bus stopping part way. Outside the bus, Grape Fucker immediately started screeching for a bathroom. The other students were wondering how this counts as a rest stop. A black car sped ahead of them and pops its doors open, and a voice calls out, Hey, Eraser. Been a long time. He responded, bowing slightly. Two women hop out of the car, proudly announcing their names. Pixie Bob and Mandalay, wild wild pussycats, and Izuku. Wearing a cute cat-themed outfit. Katsuki stared at him. He could tell that the greenette was not enjoying the costume, despite how cute it was. And oh god, who was the person in charge of his makeup? They clearly didn't know jack about a nice look. Kaken. Izuku rushed over to him. The girl who was in charge of my makeup stabbed me in the eye with the eyeliner. He whined. And the girl still did a shit job. Katsuki frowned, grabbing his face gently and looked it over. It doesn't even match your skin tone. The look contrasts too much. You have mascara smudges under your eyes, and your falsies are god-awful. I need to fix your face before you can even be seen by a camera. Please do so. Izuku said, as Eraserhead and the wild wild pussycats caught up. Seemed they were very distracted with how the pussycats were calling the idol cute. Katsuki took the falsies off first, before reaching into his bag and pulling out a makeup wipe. Get that shit off your face while I get my things. He was an MUA on a mission. Izuku nodded, wiping vigorously at everything. I swear, this girl didn't know jack about nothing. She tried using a goddamn Sharpie to fill in my brows before Fujimura-san found out and kicked her off set. She's barely passable as a mediocre artist. Katsuki took out what he needed for a base. Honestly, this is why no one else is allowed to touch your face. The entire was watching at this point, Bakugo, we literally have a camp to go to. Uraraka spoke up. And I literally need to fix his fucking face. That was not makeup, it was not even clown makeup, that was a fucking sin. Katsuki snapped. I can still feel eyeliner in my damned eye. He whined, but Sakurai laid his head in his lap. I have been surrounded with so many cats, I'm glad for Sakurai, he is precious for a baby. Sakurai is a good boy. Katsuki smiled slightly as he finished up the base and getting started on the eye look, being a bit more gentle with Izuku. The rest of the class were sitting down now, some of the ones who weren't too happy about this were subtly glaring since it was taking up so much time. If you fuckers would stop glaring at me, I'd appreciate it. Izuku snarked, as he kept his eyes closed for Katsuki. Don't act like you weren't just glaring at me, you especially grape fucker. Ignore them. It's probably not even at you, since apparently it's fucking gay for me to be as skilled as I am. Which it's not even skills, it's literally just me putting time into something I enjoy. Katsuki whispered this to Izuku, since he would like to avoid any unnecessary outbursts. Yeah, but we're both gay anyways and I would like it for people to not be dicks to any member of any community. Unless you're a pedophile. Then you can rot in hell. Either way, the girls and our boys look interested, while the rest of them are being grumpy and rude. Izuku sighed quietly as he tilted his head in order for Katsuki to brush off any fallout. Yeah well it's early in the morning and a lot of them still don't exactly appreciate my presence. Katsuki brushed Izuku's face gently with a large powder brush before looking over Izuku's hair. Mina. Hair. He called to her as he worked at the eyeliner. Yes sir. Mina came over and helped them fix Izuku, dragging Kaminari, Shiro and Kirishima overseeing as they were already awake more. Look over the costume. Think of the perfect hairstyle. Katsuki said as he put some glue on some falsies, waiting for it to dry. Mina nodded and scrutinized the outfit carefully, deciding on a cute half-up half-down braid and clipped a white bow onto the back. How's this, boss? Mina asked, as the falsies were put on. Perfect. Katsuki finished the look with a Jeffree Star velour liquid lip in doll parts and brushing a bit of champagne tears over it in the center to ombre it. Done. He held up a mirror for Izuku to see the look. Izuku smiled, thanks, Mr. Explosion. When it dried, he kissed him on the cheek, before taking Sakurai's leash and backing away, once everything was cleaned up. Katsuki put his makeup bag away, making sure everything was closed tightly and nothing would be damaged. Izuku also took that, smiling. 𝗵𝗃𝗃 jumped in front of the students, smirking dangerously. A monstrous wave of dirt exploded from beneath 𝗵𝗃𝗃's glove, throwing all the students of 1A right off the cliff and down to the forest below. Grinning like a Cheshire cat, Mandalay leaned over the rail. It's around 9:30 right now. If you go fast, you might be able to get to camp in time for lunch. That is, if you can make it through the beast's forest. What the hell? Some shouted. The class all started to make their way through the forest. Albeit it wasn't easy by any means. Katsuki was pretty close to losing his shit, because holy fuck. Kaken. Izuku yelled over the guard rail, Sakurai's safe with me. If things get too much, I'll come and get you with him. At that, Katsuki needed to prove that he'll be fine and that he can get through this. And he did. He made it to the camp with his idiots and Ida, getting there at around the middle of the lunch hour. They were the first ones to arrive. Katsuki couldn't help but be proud of himself because he kept cool and proved to himself that he could stay calm in a situation without Izuku or Sakurai close by if he freaked out. Kaken, I'm so proud of you. Izuku smiled, kissing his cheek when he arrived. You smell like burnt sugar. You've been using your quirk a lot, Mr. Explosion. Lunch is also made, curry over rice. Well I had too. He blushed a bit, smiling softly, thanks Izuku. Elusive soft Katsuki. Kaminari whispered. Izuku flipped him off and gave Katsuki another kiss on the opposite cheek, before showing them to the food. Training went as well as one would expect each day. They were all exhausted and pushed to their brink, but Izuku warmed up to class 1A and 1B slowly by cooking their meals for them under the excuse that they were giving the Baku squad a fair fight by eating right. Izuku still put laxatives into Monoma's curry for dissing Katsuki's makeup routine when he arrived. But now, tonight the test of courage arrived. Izuku was slowly bonding with Kota, who was more receptive to him than any other hero because he was an idol first. Okay. 𝗵𝗃𝗃 announced, waving her paws in the air happily. So. First, Class B is going to be our scarers. Class A will leave in pairs every 3 minutes. There are tags with your names on them at the far end of the route. Your goal is to collect those. Those who are scarers aren't allowed to make physical contact. Use your words to terrify the other class. 𝗃𝐦 growled out the last bit. The winners are the creative people that make the most people piss their pants. Tiger jumped out. All right. We'll draw lots to determine your partners. 𝗃𝐦 shouted once more, over 𝐴's overcomplication about what this event is for. The partners came together slowly, as the Baku squad was with Aizawa for some remedial lessons, Octopus and Bird Face, Katsuki and Izuku, Ghost and Earphone Jack, Sparkles and Ponytail, Uraraka and 𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂 announced, looking at her watch. "DEKIRU and the 𝗓𝗡𝗧𝐬 boy, it's your turn." And then Floater Girl and Froggy after them. Izuku sighed, looking around nervously as they entered the woods together. The woods were creepy, sure, but the knot in his skull was killing him. This wasn't the best idea. At least we have Sakurai with us. But yeesh, I have a headache from trying to deal with helping that Kota kid and helping your idiot classmates be more graceful with their fighting. You didn't have to come in with me, Izuku. You need to rest too. Katsuki told him as the greenette stood his ground and walked with him and Sakurai. No, I want to be part of this game because I know you'll get upset at anyone else. I'm just glad you or I didn't end up with 𝗓𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗧. He groped me when that dust cloud was around, and I felt so violated. When we get back I'll throw him back into the woods. Katsuki growled, before saying, but I would have been fine, I made it through the woods fine. Yeah, but this is different, this doesn't have 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 as he leaned on him, before sniffing the air. "Wait, I smell burning, and it isn't you." Now concerned, they began to follow the source of where Izuku smelt burning coming from, but Izuku slowly started recognizing the surrounding area and headed towards the little cliff cave that Koda spent his time at. "Izuku, are you sure it wasn't just burnt sugar?" "The way I smell?" Katsuki asked, looking around the area. "Unless you're wearing cedarwood cologne, yes," Izuku said as they used the cave as a vantage point. "Hey! What the heck? Why are you back here?" I said go away. On the horizon, there's a blaring blue light coming from the trees. Koda stood up to get a better look, eyes wide, any previous complaint dying in his throat. Midoriya. Fire. Quirk fire. Izuku said, "Someone is coming, and they're bringing a hell of a fight, be on your guard." Katsuki watched the light, ready to use his quirk at any moment. "Let's dance, Tenko." Izuku kept on his guard. "Well, I'll be." "Katsuki, be aware. This guy, his name is Muscular. His quirk is muscle manipulation, if I do recall correctly. You seem to be quite the brute force individual. Come close to them however though, I'll chi block you so hard you'll fall off this cliff and die." He growled, standing in front of Koda, who was understandably fearful. Muscular came up to them. "You are rather feisty." He smirked slightly. Katsuki growled a bit, his hands letting out a few small explosions. "I am what I am, Muscular. I think I will treat you to my Rhapsodia. My divine song, written by the riddling Malkavian seers." He was the dark angel, DEKIRU, right now. Things were best said in riddles. "Kukuku, get ready for the beginning of a legend. Deep in a prison of lies, the forbidden fruit awaits for the laughing sound of the bells signaling the end. The face drawn on a pure white page is that of a secret flower blooming in the darkness. Touching those petals asking for its name. These crimson eyes draw closer to a forbidden word. Opening them." Katsuki and Izuku went after the villain, catching him off guard with Katsuki's explosions, blasting him within close range to throw him off. And making sure Muscle did not get too close to Izuku. "Linzio. Thunder shakes my cage. In my awakening the choir of my heart reverberates. The demon from my dreams beckons me and with its secret soprano. Redden my cheeks with such violenza." Izuku could feel his quirk working on Muscular, entrancing him and making Katsuki's explosions more and more violent as he sang the bizarre song, weaving in and around Muscular like he was one of those playground pieces of equipment he and Katsuki used to play on. "Led through this labyrinth, my bewildered wings. Recall the fingertips which used to run through my hair. Taking a deep breath and calling its name with my soul. The illusion appears again. Grabbing onto that hand, I'll show you my oath. These crimson lips shiver to the symbol of my vow. Opening them. Your judgment. Silenzio. The time for games is long over. My shivering eyes invite you in unison. My heart begins to beat as you stepped Into this sweet prison of mine. As the song continued, Katsuki's explosions grew in power, bringing down Muscular for longer and longer moments as he kept trying to get to Izuku, who had yet to cease his movement around him, slowly but surely paralyzing him with each jab. 𝐀𝐦 𝐍𝐭. The curtains raise on our opera. Risking my life I sing my aria. Even if my karma is tainted, I'll embrace its nobility. 𝐀𝐦 𝐍𝐭. The commandment of silence was shattered by my emotions I couldn't hold back. If I'm told to cross through purgatory for redemption, I shall abide. Izuku gracefully kicked Muscular in the head, jabbing him in the forehead. Almost done. However, witnesses, you cannot give judgment to this flower blooming in the abyss. Giving me my judgment, touching me. Giving me my punishment, whispering to me. Granting me forgiveness, smiling to me. Can only be done by him. Katsuki kept him disoriented, knowing Izuku was close to getting him paralyzed. His hands burned a bit, but he didn't care. They were almost there. 𝐀𝐦 𝐍𝐭. Give me your applause, little lambs. Even if my life extinguishes. As long as my soul doesn't hesitate, I'll continue to come back with you. 𝗵𝘃𝗲. As a farewell gift, I scatter my petals and smile. With one final jab, Muscular was sent to the ground, unable to move. Don't kill me. I am simply a man doing his job. Orders may be orders, Izuku growled, a dark shadow over his emeralds, turning them almost completely black, as he held him up, to whisper in his ear, but you chose to follow them. Good night, Muscular. He kicked him over the edge of the cliff and Katsuki let out another explosion, causing a good portion of the cliff's rocks over the edge, crushing the man. Izuku smiled gently. 𝐻𝐸𝐬, are you okay? He said, looking at the boy. 𝐻𝐸𝐬 nodded, he was shaking a bit, but otherwise, he was fine. Katsuki nodded, stretching out his hands a bit. We should probably head back. Who knows who else is out here? The League, that's who. Izuku said, wrapping his cloak around 𝐻𝐸𝐬 and picking him up, revealing rippling muscles. 𝐻𝐸𝐬, things are still pretty dangerous, and I don't know how many villains are out there, but know this, little one, we'll do our best to protect you. 𝗀𝗟, as is the life of a hero. Right, Katsuki? Katsuki nodded, the kid will be alright, right Izuku? Should we get him back to everyone else so that he won't get hurt? He's not the target. He nodded, Muscular was aiming to kill him to tie up loose ends. No. Katsuki, they are after us. I'm a popular idol with a quirk that can enhance an entrance. You're an explosions master, literally. They'd be stupid not to go after us. He explained, so we need to get 𝐻𝐸𝐬 back to camp, but camp might not be safe. For the first time in a while, Katsuki, I don't know what to do. Katsuki wrapped an arm around him, it may not be safe, but it's the best option we got. We either stay put here in Sen Sakurai, or we go before anyone else can find us. I don't care who the villain is, I won't have them take you from me. Agreed. Sakurai, it's time to work. Izuku nodded, crouching to the dog with 𝐻𝐸𝐬, settle. Settle. The dog got serious, sitting next to Katsuki, 𝗫𝗏𝐻𝐸𝐬 procursus. 𝐾𝐦. The dog panted and nosed his way into Katsuki's hand. So, we go back to camp and stealth our way if we come across any suspicious things. Right now it's a life or death situation. Katsuki nodded, patting Sakurai gently. The path is down there. Let's get out of here. They quickly started to make their way through the forest to get back to the camp. They tried to remain as quiet as possible so that they wouldn't gather any attention from potential villains from the League. They happened upon a few things, but Izuku made sure they bypassed anything that could give them away. They managed to see a few fights, but decided it better to keep 𝐻𝐸𝐬 safe, who was safely tied to Katsuki's back using Izuku's cloak like a makeshift sling as the boy was safely passed out from the sheer exhaustion and constant killer intent. Once they were back at the camp, they saw it in complete chaos, with Shigaraki and the rest of the Vanguard Action Squad toying with the students, but they surprisingly held their own. It really is a shame, you missed my song. Izuku said, Muscular is dead, we acted in self-defense. Izuku said as he stepped on Toga's head who was draining Uraraka of her blood. Baby vampire, you should be in bed, it's very late and although cuts are very romantic, that's not how you treat a lady. He cracked his knuckles. Katsuki went over and quickly got 𝐻𝐸𝐬 out of the way and in a safe spot, looking at Sakurai. Sakurai stay. He told him, keeping the dog with the kid as he went back to help his idiot classmates and this group of assholes. 3-on-1, with Shigaraki, Toga, and 𝗏𝗏 versus Izuku, proved that 𝐬𝐸 wasn't just some weak idol. My, you three are very rude, you know. If you really wanted us, you could have wined and dined us first before performing this fuckery of a fight. He snarked, flipping 𝗍𝗲 into toga using judo. Shigaraki frowned, nothing less from you, princess. He spoke as 𝗍𝗲 got himself back up and used his flames to try and get 𝐬𝐸 separated from the rest of the students. I pride myself on doing my best, 10-10. 𝐬𝐸 flipped out of the way of flames, yuhu. 𝗍𝗲. Your brother still thinks fire is scary. He's always holding himself back. You're probably setting a bad example, 𝗬𝗏-kun, he snarked, weaving in and out of the fire. You motherfucker. 𝗍𝗲 now aimed his fire at 𝐬𝐸, ready to hit him. You can't expect me to believe that. Shudo can't be afraid of his quirk. He sent a roar of fire to him. Ask his frostbitten ass that. He said, kicking him to the boy who was struggling against Mr. Compress, and was probably going to die. So, he dodged the flames. Have a nice reunion, 𝗬𝗏-kun, Shudo-chan. Remember, even if you're the bad guys, you still have to have big brother little brother time. He then dodged a barrage of knives by using a log that was going to be used for kindling as a shield. That isn't nice, Himiko-chan. I know I look great in blood red, but if I bleed out too soon, then who's gonna play with you? 𝗍𝗲 growled. That fucking brat. He muttered, then looked over at Shudo. Shudo, he could see just how much he was struggling. He was holding himself back. Shudo panted as a small flicker of fire came out, before being held back more by rigid ice, as he willed another ice wall to come up and dodge the barrage of playing cards sent his way. 𝗍𝗲 frowned, seeing the frostbite form. You dumbass. You're going to get yourself killed. He shouted to him, your fire is your power and no one else's. It is not just destruction, it's light and power and belongs to you. The flames came out a little more, before being killed under more ice. Shudo thought he was dreaming. 𝗬𝗏 was dead, wasn't he? 𝗍𝗲 huffed. At this point, he just thought fuck it. You are light, Shudo Todoroki. Don't let anyone tear you down. You are not just destruction or a simple flame. You are the greatest of dad's children. 𝗬𝗏. His flames came out full force and Shudo regained his sense for the battle, ending it quickly. After Mr. Compress was deader than a doornail due to uncontrollable flames, 𝗍𝗲 found himself with a lapful of upset and happy little brother. 𝗬𝗏. He wrapped his arms around him. It's nice to see you too, Shudo. He smiled slightly, looking at him. 𝗬𝗏, Dad said you died. He said you were found dead after you ran away from home. You never said goodbye. All I can remember is being cross with you that day because you wouldn't play with me, he cried, holding on to him as the world around them faded. I wanted to say goodbye. He told him, wiping his face gently. But I didn't run away. I was thrown out. Thrown out with nothing more than the clothes on my back and burns left on me. He did this? All of this. 𝗍𝗲 had to remember, Shudo was the youngest, the most impressionable. His word was gospel. Now that Shudo wasn't on fire anymore, he could see slight burns beginning to form. As he had kept it inside for so long, his skin didn't have a resistance to it. No, he showed him his arms. None of these are from him, they're from someone else. I covered them up with tattoos. Don't tattoos hurt? He said as he bit his lip, if you're a bad guy now, I gotta fight you, right? I don't want to though. They hurt a little bit, but I can handle it. He rubbed his back. You don't have to fight me if you don't want to. I may be a bad guy in other people's eyes, but I won't hurt you. I don't want to hurt you either. He said, but if you're a bad guy, does this mean I'll never see you again? His lips wobbled. Fuyumi missed you lots, 𝗬𝗏. And I hurt somebody reals bad. Does that make me a bad guy too? No, that doesn't make you bad, Shudo. Don't cry. He wiped his face gently. How did you hurt someone though? Shudo just pointed at the corpse of Mr. Compress, shoving a fist in his mouth as if to try and self-soothe. He always did that when he was a baby. Well, he was being a big dumb and hurt you. He needed to look into this later. But, I want to see you more. I just don't know if I can. I want to see you more, too. He said, but what about good guys and bad guys? I don't want you to go to jail. I don't either. Jail is scary. People touch you in no-no places. One of Daddy's work friends tried to touch me in those places. But my fire spooked him reals bad. I see. His grip tightened on his brother a bit. Tell me. Do you remember that person who tried to touch you in a bad place? He had a horsey face. Corn hair and big teeth like a beaver. Shudo nodded. He was big. I didn't like him at all. Well, I may pay him a visit later, but that's beside the point. I will try to find a way to see you, 𝗏𝗏. I promise. He smiled at him. 𝗏𝗏 tightened his hold, legs wrapping firmly around his waist. Can we cuddle till you have to go back? He pouted, throwing in puppy dog eyes. Well, I can't say no to that face. He chuckled, keeping his arms around him as he rubbed his back softly. 𝗏𝗏 laid his head on his shoulder. Can you tell me funny stories, 𝗀𝗏? I want to know where you went. He said, shoving his fist back in his mouth. 𝗬𝗲𝗡 smiled and started to tell him about a few funny stories that he had with Shigaraki and the other dumbass in the league. A cute brother reunion aside, Izuku was still holding both Shigaraki and Toga back rather well, dodging every move and inadvertently causing them to attack each other as the rest of 1A fought off the League of Villains. You know, you could make this easier on yourself and leave like a tree. Shigaraki, being a petty bitch, called for the ones who were still alive to get back and head back. However, he still made a mad dash to Katsuki, wanting to take home a prize at the very least. Izuku yelled, 𝗲𝗏𝗄 𝗏𝗏𝗄. Protect Katsuki, Sakurai. The dog leaped into action, tackling Katsuki into Aizawa, and Izuku tackled Shigaraki into the portal. Katsuki. Tell Fujimura. Find me. He yelled before the oblivion took him. Izuku. Katsuki screamed, watching as he disappeared with the rest of the villains. Mina and the Baku squad held Katsuki with Sakurai as he howled in grief,